Clubhouse and actually meeting people in person. I actually was inspired. I think it was Credit Ninja. She's still here.
Yeah, she's always lurking in the background somewhere.
Yeah, she was in a different room, and she was talking about some people that she had met in Las Vegas, and I was like, oh my God, I need to do that. And so I scheduled a party tonight for a couple of local people that we found out were super, super close. I was like, you guys, let's get together and go to dance class. And so we actually went to dance class tonight. And it was like we have known each other forever because we'd already heard each other's voices and we already felt like we were best friends. And so seeing each other tonight was like seeing that long, lost camp person that you went to like high school camp and you're like, oh my God. And you're running at each other and you're picking each other up and you're hugging. And so that's what I learned is just don't keep it on the app, take it off the app and make the relationships in real life. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. So that's the lesson that I have for you. Thank you so much for letting me speak. I'm totally following all of you guys. This is my first time in this room, and I'm so excited about some new friendships I'm going to make with you guys too. So take care.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, there's been a lot of relationship building going on over here as well. I know that I think Credit was the OG. She was the original gangster of getting people together because I think while a lot of the world was locked down, Vegas was like, nah, we're just going to carry on partying. So Credit was getting people together for dinners. She would because obviously the time difference, she would have been like out with people, like a dozen people in the evening, then would come into the room after she got home at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was legendary. So Credit was the OG of face-to-face gatherings, and now there's actually a big gang here in the UK that have been meeting up. There's been some individual meetups because there's a guy called you won't know him, Heather, because you're new here, but there's a guy called Beju who's known as the Sniper. He organised like a little sly get together just of a couple of people. He didn't want everyone to be there. It was a bit weird. We felt a bit uncomfortable about it, but I love bantering him. I love bantering him about it.
You was there, Susan, wasn't you? You was invited.
Oh, of course she was. That's right. She was one of the turncoats who went to the elitist meetup. But yeah, there's actually been some individual meetups since. And actually tomorrow in London in Hyde Park. Do you remember Hyde Park used to be like a big gathering place for festivals? Well, Beige has created another festival. It's the Clubhouse Meetup. Beige, I'm going to call you Beige. I've never called you Beige. Oh, Beige. How many people are coming? How many people are confirmed?
Well, based on registrations, it goes to about 60, 70 people.
60 or 70 people getting together tomorrow. That is going to be...
That's the hands up I've got.
You're going to be on ITV News for a disturbance being broken up in the park.
And I've actually got I've got green sticker badges. So if they come to Hyde Park, I'll put a green sticker on to mod them in the park.
Yes. You're modding people in the park. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. I wonder what that was. To be fair, Beiju put just a picture of a load of stickers into a group. He's like, guess what this is? And I was like, acid? Like, how big is this party going to be? Like, what's he got planned for it? So he's just modding people. So yeah, if you want to find out more information, by the way, about the meetup, because there's loads of people getting together in Hyde Park tomorrow. If you're in London or if you're in England, anywhere, what are the details, Beiju?
12 o'clock near the Serpentine Cafe. Just come free for all. Everybody's invited. If you want to DM me, I'll send you the invite for it. Susan's got it as well. The DM Susan, she's got it as well. Or Alan.
Awesome stuff.
12 o'clock onwards near the Serpentine. And I'm back. I'll see you in a minute.
Awesome stuff. Fantastic. I'm loving these relationships getting built. There's been some proper... I wonder how much, and not that it's about like a monetary value, but I wonder how much money has been made in these rooms. I wonder how many business relationships. Sorry, Ashley just walked in and everybody's laughing their heads off. What happened?
Note to self: do not place a TV behind the door, because when Ashley walks in, he's going to smash the door so hard with his foot. It's going to smash the TV.
To be fair, I should have guessed that was going to happen, because I interviewed Ashley for my podcast. That's how our bromance began back in January. And one of his pieces of advice was, if you run at a wall hard enough, you'll run through it. And I was like, is this geezer serious? And now to get to know him better, he's definitely serious. Right, just to quickly refresh, guys, if you click onto my profile, I'm James down on the left-hand side, second row, or Ashley or Paul or the Winners Club, you'll go through to our official landing page, the Winners Club landing page. The Winners Club is a community-based room and a community-based family that we've created here on Clubhouse. We have a variety of wicked rooms every single week. We've got Breakfast with Winners, Daily Habits of High Performance. We've got Lucien's Reflection Room. We have midweek talks with leaders. And also on a Friday, we always get together for a live stream. So you can actually watch the show as well as listen to it. And you can click in the link right now. in that bio, and then you can go through to the live feed and you can watch this show as well as listen to this show if you are someone who is visually inclined as well as audibly engaged. So there you go.
And we got something really exciting coming up, haven't we? Can't say too much.
What
we spoke about in the week. It clearly wasn't that exciting to
you. We speak about that.
Are we talking about
oh no, we've got that. We can
what are you talking about there? You talk about your clock again.
No,
for God's sake, nobody cares about it. Don't even know the time.
The FaceTime call, the WhatsApp call thing that we had. Remember?
No. What are we talking about here? I've had a really busy week, to be fair. Anyway.
We had a video call.
Yeah. What did I agree to? I just say yes.
I can't say because it would give it away, but so don't play that trick.
Okay.
But you know what we agreed to.
I actually don't. I'm really getting concerned. Gary,
it is probably because I call you about 7 times a day each. You probably forget.
That's true. Yeah. Cumulatively across the week, I have had 37 conversations with Ashley.
It was really annoying this week because I had quite a bit to do, obviously, because I made a commitment to get this room
you
ready
built
for
a recording
us.
studio.
Yeah, so I had quite a bit to do, and you get under the desk to connect all the wires because there's like a million wires underneath here, and then the phone would ring. You fucking, you'd try to be polite. Yeah, and
is that you trying to be polite? Yeah, when you pick up the phone.
Yeah, but it was like, yes.
Right then, mods and speakers, give us a flash of the mic. If you've learned, what's your learning or your lesson of the week? I'd love to hear your lesson of the week. Let's go for, is it Caris? Have I pronounced your name correctly? Charisse. I was kind of close, but a million miles away at the same time. Sorry about that. Charisse, what's your learning of the week, my friend?
My learning of the week comes from my 3-year-old daughter, and she taught me the power of perspective and the power of defining for yourself what your challenges or what might be perceived as your failures are. So my husband was giving they're twins, so we have 2 3-year-olds. My husband was giving them a bath, and my daughter kept climbing on the bath. She likes to make her body into a bridge on both sides of the bath. And he keeps saying, Matilda, get down, you're going to fall. And eventually she does fall into the tub and she falls on her stomach, and then she just gets up and tries to do it again. And my husband says, Matilda, you just fell. Don't do that again. And she looked at him and she very seriously told him, Papa, I didn't fall. I'm swimming. And so my husband and I laughed at that, but I loved that that was her response, and that no matter what it looked like to us on the outside, that girl is not failing. That girl is not falling. She's swimming and she's going places. So that's the lesson that I learned from my 3-year-old this week.
Absolutely brilliant. I love that. I love when they've always at that age got an answer for it, haven't they? They've got an answer for everything. I didn't fall. I'm swimming. Of course you were. I did it yesterday with my son. He's like, stop bouncing on the trampoline. Come and get off because you've got to come in the house now. He's like, I'm not bouncing. The trampoline is bouncing itself. I'm like, how can you even go? Well, it's not, is it? It's obviously it's physics. It's you doing it. But he's like, nah. Leave your brother alone. We've got a 4-year-old and an 11-month-old. And the 4-year-old, he sounds like a bit like your Matilda. He was convinced he was dragging his 11-month-old brother onto the trampoline. We're like, do you want us to pick him up? He's like, no, I've got it. I'm like, you definitely haven't got it. Good lesson. Good lessons from kids there. When do we get that knocked out of us as children or adults? So you can just do anything you want to or just create any opportunity. Who knows? Love that. Thank you for the share. Mods and speakers, give us a flash of the mic. What's your lesson or learning of the week? We're coming down the panel. I sound like Ashley there, didn't I? Let's go to Sharon. Lovely. Come on, Sharon. What have you got for us?
Hey, everybody. My lesson for the week, actually, I learned yesterday, which is that I need to focus on creating more balance in my week and being more structured about how much time I spend in Clubhouse, what rooms I go in, and how much time I actually spend with my kids and with getting on top of the house, because I've found recently that I've been a little bit overwhelmed with trying to do it all. And I am on my own. So, and this has all been a bit of a new experience to me over the last 7 months. So for me, trying to balance looking after the house, managing the children's needs, doing the dinner, doing all of those things, trying to run a business, then Clubhouse, then managing all the social media, it feels like a lot sometimes. So I talked to a good friend last night, and they helped me develop like a a bit of a structure. And I'm also going to be going on Abigail's time management meeting Zoom today as well. So hopefully by doing that, I'll feel better and like I have more discipline. So I think that's the thing, is that we need to have discipline and balance when it comes to managing our time in order to be successful. So that's what I'm working on moving forward. So that's me. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Great share. Thank you very much. Modern Speakers, give us a flash. Have you got a learning or a lesson of the week? How many times in the week do we go, I just need to get better with time? Anyone else have that conversation with themselves constantly, like every day?
Yep.
So glad it's not just me. Right, let's go to Denise with a gigantic wine glass in her hand. Oh no, gin glass. That looks like a lot of fun. Denise, we'll come to you next, my friend. What's your learning or lesson of the week?
My learning and lesson of the week comes courtesy of a beautiful podcast recording with the amazing Beiju today. Oh, not today, sorry, this week. So I am relaunching my podcast today and interviewed the lovely Beiju during the week. And I learnt that you should say yes to every opportunity except for when Beiju offers to marry you and make you one of his wives. Other than that, you should say yes to everything.
What the?
My
Whoa,
lesson
whoa,
of the
whoa,
week.
whoa, whoa! I never said you proposed to that. What the fuck? What the hell? I'm throwing my honey above here. I'm gonna... What is going on?
I never thought that a learning or lesson of the week would be don't say yes to Beiju's marriage proposals.
Oh my days.
This is what's going on in the 7-day sprint.
Yeah, that's right. You're on the sprint as well.
Who can get to the chapel first?
Who can run away from it quickest, more like. See you later. I'm gone. Right, well, I'm not sure that was a useful learning or lesson, but thanks very much, Denise.
This should be a competition. Beiju's bride.
Oh my God, that definitely should not be a competition. Should we run it on Clubhouse?
Beiju the Bachelor.
Beiju the Bachelor. Yes.
Oh my days.
He's got
Start
a
a
partner,
room
isn't
and
he?
let it go.
Start a room.
No.
We're definitely not having the conversation about Beiju and just saying let it go at the same time. Definitely. Right, mods and speakers, flash your mics. What was your learning or lesson of the week? Unless it relates to Beiju and marriage proposals, in which case we don't want to hear those. But other than that, what's your learning or lesson of the week? Paul, have you learned anything this week? Maybe about audio production, maybe about...
Don't try to build a studio in a week.
Well, you actually did it
on your own.
On 4 days, didn't you, to be fair?
On your own, yeah, don't do that.
Have you drilled this really nice desk, by the way?
Yeah, so it can't be used again. Anybody that's in my building, apologies. The
meeting room is closed.
Room has no desk.
If you're a member of...
This is the meeting room desk, yeah.
Yeah,
it's perfect size. I was looking online to try and find a desk that was this size, and then I walked into the meeting room. I was like, that looks a good size. So I measured the desk and it worked. So I took it out of the meeting room.
But you could easily spin that and say that you like stand-up meetings.
Meeting's like, closed for COVID. The meeting room's closed for COVID.
Closed for COVID restricted. But that's a big thing now, isn't it? Like what they call them, scrum meetings, where they're only like 7 minutes and everyone has to stand up, so they don't last too long. That's like a thing, isn't it? Like a corporate thing. You could have like that on the... It's a nice desk though as well. How long did it take to drill through this thing?
No, I realised that was cheap as well because it's hollow.
Oh, fantastic! So today's show is brought to you by just a variety of cheap goods and services from Paul. Just a cheap old table and a clock that doesn't tell the time. Apparently, it is 9:47 in the morning here in the UK. I can't neither confirm nor deny if that is the case. Right, anyone had a learning or a lesson of the week that they would love to share with us? Let's go to Melinda. I always love Melinda. Go on, Melinda.
Do you? Good morning.
I just love Aussies.
Not about on this particular occasion, it's not about Beiju.
Okay, fantastic. So you take all the time you want then.
Do you know? I'm a bit of a TED Talk addict, and I came across a TED Talk that spoke about giving giving yourself 10 opportunities to try and make something happen, and that can consist of anything. So I kind of thought to myself, why would anyone want to limit themselves? Because if you want to do something, then there should be no limit. There should not be, okay, I've tried 10 times, so I'm going to move on to something else. I thought that a really bizarre concept. So over the course of the week, I've challenged that, and you know, there are times when you can get what you want in less than 10 tries. But then there are times that you've just got to keep trying. And I think that what's really, really important, I got this from John when I was reading through a couple of his wonderful articles that he's got on his LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to know about purpose, he's your guy. Because I was trying to write my mission statement and trying to write my purpose and all that. And I kind of realized that I'd sort of bundled my vision statement, purpose, and mission all into one. So having read that, I sort of got it out and managed to do it step by step. And what I realized is that I have found my purpose. And even if you don't find your purpose, you can continue asking wonderful questions to yourself all the time, because it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful learning, unfolding process, and nothing's ever perfect. So what I would say is that even if you've tried umpteen times, but you didn't get what you want, it's probably because you've put limitations on yourself, you've put these biases on yourself, and you've put this pressure on yourself. And once you sort of take that off and you just keep going with that vision, with that purpose, you know, miracles will happen. And I always go back to time, because time is a really interesting thing. I was listening to Bob Proctor, and he talked about, actually everyone who came up to speak to him talked about time, but he didn't really answer that concept. So I'm going to answer that here, because time to me is a scaffolding that holds all the things that you learn apart, without which everything will fall in amongst itself. So you can't have all the experiences happen at once. And this is, to me, it's like picking up crumbs of the universe. And when I pick up my crumbs of the universe, which I got to tell you, happen to me every single moment of the day, I'm getting crumbs all the time. And when I pick these crumbs up, everything happens. And so I don't question time. I don't get angry at myself now. I don't say it's not happening fast enough. There's the reason why, because I need to learn what I need to learn so that I can get the very best of what I need done, rather than something that's sort of haphazard because I'm impatient. So anyone who's looking to achieve anything, take time to consider that time is there for a reason. It's not there to get angry at. And once you start appreciating that you can then use that to your advantage. And then you can, really focus on what really needs to be done. And when you take that pressure off yourself, miracles happen. I'm Melinda, and I just want to wish everyone a most fantastic day.
Oh, I love that. Most fantastic day. Thank you very much, Melinda. I love that. Right, guys, we're going to mix it up a little bit now because
brilliant.
We've got...
Susan's just found out she's a special guest. This is brilliant.
No,
Susan went. So is there a special? When's the guest coming in? He's like, you are the guest. What, really?
Was that a serious question? What did you think you'd driven from Margate for? For the love of God.
Bring chaos.
Bring chaos. Bloody hell, you can take it back with you as well. You've not even got any sage yet to burn to get rid of the bad enzymes in the room or whatever it is. Right, guys, we have got a special announcement. We're very excited about this. As per usual, we like to over-deliver, under-promise and over-deliver. That's our motto. It isn't actually, is it? But very excited because this weekend is the Euros. It starts this weekend. And because most of us, for COVID restrictions, can't actually go, or can you go?
You can, but you got to do COVID tests and all sorts of stuff.
Forget it. Don't bother. We're going to be bringing you guys coverage of the Euros here on Clubhouse. I know what you're thinking, but surely the BBC and ITV have got it covered. Yeah, but you don't get this banter, do you? Maybe you don't want it. So this weekend, we are starting off our Winners Club Euro 2020, 1 year later, 2021 coverage. Live in the Winners Club, if Ashley remembers to put it in a flipping Winners Club. Ole! Oh, yeah, this has turned into a banger, isn't it? Sounds like Beju's Club. Time and every year, Romford. What?
Please stop that. Please stop that.
What? That voice?
Yeah.
So, this weekend, we are starting our... Oh, This is such a good tune. I've never listened to it this far through. I'm loving it.
This is the theme music, by the way, for our new Winners
Yeah,
Club.
this is the theme music for the Winners Club Euro coverage. So for all of the England games, and we're going to start with just the England games, but if there's a big appetite for this content, which quite frankly, why wouldn't there be, then we are going to roll it out to some more of the rooms as well. So we'll be doing pre-game analysis, post-game analysis, and nothing in the middle because you want to watch the match, right? So we're going to leave you to go and watch it on the TV.
And legally, we can't do the streaming part.
We thought we could, and we could probably stream it off BBC iPlayer, frankly, but we don't want to get ourselves in hot water, do we?
No.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have rooms that are talking about the game before. So, like in the build-up, on I was going to say Grandstand with Des Lynam. I haven't watched the TV since the 90s. Like ITV and BBC, you get like the experts. Well, we've got no experts, but we've got me, Ash and Paul.
No, we have got an expert.
No, we actually have got experts because our host for the Euro coverage is the one and only Pete Cohen. And you might be thinking, well, why Pete? Isn't that the geezer with the duck on his head? Yes, it is. But the reason for that is because Pete is actually an elite football psychologist and a sports psychologist, performance psychologist. He's worked with do you remember when Arsenal went like a whole season and a half and didn't lose a single match? Pete was part of the psychology team.
He was their mindset guy.
He was their mindset guy. So he's worked
more recently worked with West Ham ladies football team as well as their mindset person.
And the mindset person, that's a great job title, isn't it? Should we call him a sports psychologist or something?
Sports psychologist.
Bringing you this weekend live coverage with a mindset person.
And we are working to get some other guests as well into the room, some journalists, some other guests as well.
Yeah, we've got some football journalists, we've got some footballers, we've got some ex-professionals. I'm hoping I might be able to get an ex-England international player in. I'm in talks, guys.
Okay.
I can either confirm or deny if that's going to happen, but they call that a cliffhanger in broadcast land.
So yeah, and if you're not interested in football, just come along because it will
come along for the bands.
Yeah.
And
if you're American and you're wondering what the hell the Euros are, it's the European Championships for football, soccer.
We're talking soccer, guys. Yes. Don't worry, guys. We're not talking proper NFL. We're talking soccer. That is coming up this weekend, and we're going to do something a little bit different because, as we say, because we've got Pete in with his sports psychology background, we're going to be talking about exactly what's going on in the dressing rooms before. What's their mindset like? Who's doing the team talks? What's being said? What happens? In the post-match analysis, we'll talk about what were the decisions that were made at halftime. Why did they do that? Gareth Southgate did a fantastic podcast talking about sort of the mindset and the team building aspect of the side of things that he does. Do you know that Gareth Southgate doesn't do the halftime team talk?
No, I didn't know that.
His head coach does. Did you want to know that? Well, now you do. All of that information and more coming up this weekend on the Winners Club Euro coverage. That is going to be starting on Sunday. The match kicks off, I believe, at 2:00. So our room is going to go live at 1:00. So we'll be bringing you the official. It's not official though, is it? The official Winners Club pre-match build-up, and then we'll have the post-match analysis with, as Paul mentioned, journalists, former footballers, hopefully a couple of international soccer stars and performance psychologists and all of our usual friends here in the Winners Club. How does that sound? Mods and speakers, give us a flash to mic if you're excited for the official Winners Club coverage. 2 people. Glad we're bothering. Who is excited about the Euros? Give us a flash of the mics if you're excited about the Euro.
I don't even know what that is. I'm just excited for all of you.
So the Euros is the European Championships of football. So all of the European nations get together and we have a little bit of a football tournament.
In the soccer football world, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And apparently, this is who remembers this tune? Apparently, according to Pete Cohen, it's coming home this year. So if you don't know, if you're listening from abroad, England won the World Cup once in 1966, and we've been dining out on that fact ever since. And every single time a tournament comes around, doesn't matter how ropey our team is, we always think, "Oh, we got a shot here. We got a shot here."
Yeah, and as every day comes and you get closer to the tournament, you believe you're going to win it.
I know. I was
and then the whistle goes off for the first game. Oh no!
I was like, I'm not going to do that this year. I'm definitely not going to get myself overhyped about it, but I'm overly hyped. And this was the song back in 1996 when we actually hosted the Euros here in the UK. This was called Football's Coming Home by Badil and Skinner, who were like big TV presenters at the time. And every single time a tournament comes out, this gets wheeled back again. I'll let you enjoy a couple of minutes of it. It's quite good. 3 lies on a shirt. Don't mute me. Every time I hear it, I get hyped. I'm so excited for the Euros now. As soon as I hear this song. Anyway, so that is coming up this weekend. We'll move on from that, but that is coming up this weekend. The unofficial, official Winners Club pre and post game analysis of the England match. So Sunday at 1 o'clock, hosted by peak performance mindset sports psychologist Pete Cohen, who Paul Applecrumble has rebranded as the mindset guy for the Arsenal, the non-stop winning Arsenal team. So make sure you tune in at 1 o'clock on Sunday, pre-game analysis. Then we'll let you watch the match and we'll jump back on for a post-game analysis as well. Journalists, ex-sports stars and the like coming on to the Winners' Club.
Game. And we've got 2 big games to start with, Croatia and Scotland.
We've got Croatia, Scotland. Are they calling ours the group of death? They normally do that, don't they? And again, if you're not,
give us a way out.
If you're not from the UK, you're like, what the hell are they talking about? The UK press go nuts for this. Everybody builds up this team. They're like, we've got to be more supportive of these young players, and it gets to it, and then all of the press rinse them, and then to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room, if we play really poorly, we get knocked out early doors. We call it the group of death. So we are playing against Croatia, then Scotland, then the Czech Republic.
On a serious note, that we won't say the name of the podcast because I don't want to promote our competitors, but I know their competitor, I don't know. But that Gareth Southgate podcast that you're talking about, yes. I listened to that. And what was really bringing it back to a relevance of this room, they was talking about previous years and previous tournaments. And I think John touched on it once in this room about the culture of our press in the UK and what they do. And they mentioned the fear of the England players, 10 years ago, the fear that they felt when playing for England, because they felt like the press would always pick one scapegoat in the team and make the reason for the team's failure that one individual. So they went into tournaments thinking,
not wanting to be the scapegoat.
Well, just thinking it doesn't matter how we go out of this tournament, not thinking we can win the tournament. They would go into the tournament thinking, as long as we come out of this without being the scapegoat, we've done well.
Because you do, don't you? At the end of the tournament, it's like people would vilify. I remember when Ronaldo obviously sort of like fell over like a sack of potatoes when David Beckham sort of brushed his leg, and then he had to come back and play in the Premier League after that. I think it was in Portugal, wasn't it? And he was hated, wasn't he? When they came back from like pre-season in August, I was like, good luck to you, mate, with all those Mancunian fans. I don't think you're going to be very popular.
Simone.
Oh, was it Simone?
Simone, not the...
Yeah, Diego Simeone.
I heard...
Rooney.
Yeah, Rooney was another scapegoat. Beckham was a scapegoat one year, wasn't he? Gareth Southgate himself was a scapegoat. But
Gareth Southgate said on that podcast, they literally would speak about and the mentality of the team going into those. So we all thought, oh, look at this team. It's brilliant. It's the golden years. This team's going to win. And he actually said that people would go into the tournament and they'd generally openly speak about, let's just come out of this unscathed.
Yeah.
No matter, it doesn't matter if we exit. Let's just exit not being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Which is no wonder why we didn't win.
Yeah, exactly. To bring it back to...
Me and Ash are like, we have no idea.
Manifest it. Are you not a football fan, Ash?
I am a football fan, but I just watched the football and just.
So, sure, how do you not know what we're talking about?
No. I just.
This is a mindset thing we're talking about.
Yes. Oh, I thought what was really interesting.
I've got Susan just sitting there going, what do I say? He's gone off my head.
We shouldn't have brought Susan in today, should we? She's first week of a new studio, no air conditioning, talking about football. This was absolutely not the week to bring Susan in, was it? But actually, I think what was really interesting with the Gareth Southgate, I'm going to talk about it because they're not a competitor. Well, actually,
do you know what? Yeah, go and check this podcast out because it's a really, really good podcast. Not as good as the Winners Club podcast, by the way.
No, it's a close second.
It's a close second.
Yeah,
they've got more downloads than we have.
Only by like a couple of million. But it's called the High Performance Podcast. It's by Jake Humphries, who's the TV presenter, and a guy called Professor Damien Hughes, who is a mindset psychologist from the University of Manchester, I believe.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of sports psychology stuff. Like our mate Pete Cohen, the mindset man. So make sure you go and check out that podcast because actually it was a real interesting insight into their psychology. And I thought it was really interesting. Gareth Southgate, the way he was talking, it was just completely like that whole macho bantery thing is gone. They're talking about wellness and well-being and making sure the players are being looked after. And again, in a lot of years, like Terry Venables years, like, the players are not allowed to have their misses around, the day before a game because if any fruity action happens and they're not on their game. Whereas Gareth said, I think actually in Russia, why we did so well was because we made it a family event. Because we had so many young players, they needed that support system, so we gave them what they needed. And I was listening to another podcast on the way in this morning, and they were talking about they had a young lad on, and they were saying, "Oh, what's the best bit about playing for England?" He's like, "Oh, just being around the other lads." And they say, "Oh, what you're doing outside of it?" It's like, "Oh, we just play football today. Just have we have a really really genuinely good time, and we play Uno."
Did you listen to the Toto Wolff one?
No.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Is it good?
What a guest. If anybody knows Toto Wolff, what a guest that would be for the Winners Club. That is a phenomenal episode. You got to listen to that one. We'll talk about that.
If anybody, by the way, if anyone in the audience or on the moderating panel has got connections in the football world, if you'd like to lend us your friends for this tournament, that would be fantastic, because it turns out that Susan as a co-commentator is going to be a nightmare. So we might need some other people to jump onto the. We've got actually.
We're going to. So we go to our special guest who didn't know she was a special guest. By the way.
Just so you know, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about potential guests, and I don't know if you remember the peak Golazzo era of the 90s, but Del Piero has been floated as a name who we might be able to get on.
That'd be good. You know who he is, Ash?
I was born in the 90s.
Get out, young guys. Anyway, we'll move away from our official coverage, but that is coming up this weekend. We look forward to seeing you there at 1:00 on Sunday for the Winners Club Euro coverage kickoff. Right then. We've got somebody in the studio today. We can't have this theme music for her, quite frankly, can we? In fact, have we got anything more suitable for here we go. No, I'm still playing the other thing. Sorry about that. Right, we have got the one and only Susan Stocker. They call her Champagne Susan around Margate. Hey, she's in the studio.
Actually, I was on the phone to her yesterday, and I said, "Where are you coming from?" And then she was like, "Margate." Actually, it's Palm Bay.
Palm Bay, do us a favour.
That's what it's called.
It's like Palm Beach in America, but not.
Yeah.
Champagne Susan.
Champagne Susan. I love it.
Right then, so we've got Susan in the room. She's a regular contributor to the Winners Club. She is somebody who always gives massive value, and we love having her here. Mods and speakers, if you love hearing what Susan's got to say, give us a flash of the mic. If you're a Susan fan.
2 again.
Oh, the fan club. It's gone down to 1. But that one person is flashing really hard.
I love that one.
I'm flashing for you, Susan. I'm flashing.
But Susan has brought a different energy to this room, because when, not to this room particularly today, I mean, she's been a flipping nightmare, quite frankly, but ordinarily she brings a great energy to the room, because normally when we started off this room, it was very business heavy, wasn't it? It was very like, let's talk systems and strategies and tactics. And then Susan turned up and she's like, well, actually, I manifested that into my construction business. Everyone's like, what the hell is she talking about? But now she's become the mum of manifestation here on the app, I would say. She's the queen of the universe in our words. Susan Stocker is here, everybody. Let's give her a round of applause. Susan's here, everybody. She didn't know she's a special guest, so we're playing for time so we can think of some questions to ask her that she's going to be happy to answer. So so tell us a little bit about your backstory, Susan, if you don't mind, because you talk a lot about sort of the more esoteric.
Oh.
Don't know what's happened here. Oh. Paul's pressing buttons again. Oh, we've gone from. What are you doing? Have you not done enough with your weird clock? That's
You're back now. You're
clock.
back.
Yeah, we hear you talking a lot about the world of manifestation, etc. But you are someone who runs a very successful business in the real world as well. Tell us about who is Susan Stocker.
Oh, wow. This is so weird, guys, by the way, talking into a mic. I can't get used to it. Sounds strange.
Don't worry, Ashley's still not used to it. Do you know how many times we had to say, Ashley, the microphone needs to be a couple of inches away from your mouth? And he'd be sitting back like this, trying to talk on his microphone.
But don't eat it.
Yeah, I love it. And God, anyway.
It's like, hello.
Sorry, go on, Susan.
I did a minute ago and my earphones unplugged.
Who is Susan Stocker?
I mean, my goodness, who remembers the days when we used to do our intros and we used to read those intros? And I think mine was like,
what was yours?
It was like, I co-own a construction company, mum of 3, meditate. Like, it was ridiculous. So I've just changed all that. But I guess, who am I? Yeah, I am a mum primarily. Do co-own a railway construction company, but I've definitely manifested a new life for myself. And now turning my passion into, hopefully, my new career. And
is that the plan?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Did you not know that, James?
I did not know that. Yeah. I knew you were dabbling. I didn't know you were dabbling seriously.
Yeah. Now I'm dabbling seriously. Yeah. Because it's happening. So I think just like
of course
everyone
you manifested
here.
It.
Yeah, I manifested it. And I think just like everyone, I can't sit next to Ash. My feet don't touch the floor. I feel like a naughty little school kid. I keep looking and laughing at you guys.
Ash's feet ain't touched the floor in about 6 months since he came in. He walked in today, and the most exciting thing was like, they've only gone and got little chairs, haven't they? We actually, there's little chairs in here now.
Your feet
we actually built this new studio. The main driver behind it was because you couldn't see Ashley over the screens in the old one.
Even when I stood up.
The screens were too high. You actually couldn't see Ashley.
Oh, that's so funny.
If you look back at the camera footage, all you see is my hairline.
It's like my mum on FaceTime. When she FaceTimes me and all I can see is this, just the forehead. I'm like, Mum. She's like, yeah.
So how did you end up in the world of railway construction? Let's start there. Or
Yeah.
let's take us right back to the beginning. What's your background? What's your backstory?
From when I was born.
Yeah. Well, maybe not
Crikey.
that part. I mean, let's speed past
I
the
feel
first
like,
couple of years.
You know, the little kid in the Goonies when he gets captured, and then he's like, "When I was 5, I wet myself." I mean, so yeah. I mean, I had a good childhood. Without kind of going too deep, I had a good childhood and then had a bit of trauma, which is probably why I kind of went down into this spiritual side. So my dad died when I was a teenager. This keeps echoing. That went deep. And then, yeah, I had my first child at 21. I used to actually be a trainer. So I used to actually, for a living, train customer services. I used to actually go in when teams were arguing or not getting on. I used to go in and do like ice breaking and like lift the mood and stuff like that. And we used to like,
You might have to do that later on.
yeah, we used to do things like that. So I actually used to work with a lot of finance teams, funnily enough, because like you said, like bringing that different energy. So I've kind of always been this person that people would want, like my manager used to bring me to all the big board meetings and the big lunches in London because she used to say there'll never be an awkward silence if I'm there. So even from like
Fair assessment.
So even from like age 19, 20, I've always been a person that talks and talks and talks, likes talking and can just speak to people. So I've kind of, even though I used to get really nervous, I've kind of always been that kind of person. So that was going to be my career. I used to go to London. I used to do like new product training, go in rooms with all like, you know, huge kind of names and just stand at the front and train them on new products.
Training them on what?
So I used to work in a large call center. So it was like phone cards. You know, we used to before like mobile phones.
Oh, this is why you two are like kindred spirits. Actually,
What,
like a
you
follow closer.
telecommunication?
Oh, come on in.
Hey, did you telecommunications? No.
He's been everything. He isn't this week.
But I guess I have a little bit, like I have done like a few different jobs. I used to be an MVQ assessor when I was like 21, like so young, but I got it's called a D32, D33 qualification. And I used to assess adults trying to get back into work, a lot of vulnerable adults. So I used to do customer service, MVQ assessing. Like I used to do a lot up to 21 actually, and then I got pregnant. So I still carried on working, but I carried on working as a trainer for a few years, and then I moved to estate agency. And so I was an estate agent for 9 years.
Sales of lettings.
Lettings, but I used to do buy-to-let investments. So I
Of
used to
course
work a lot. This made me laugh. Though. So I used to work a lot with buy-to-let investors. So, but I love that. That was for me my dream job. I thought about having my own estate agency.
Oh, did you love it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got paid because I used to be like senior valuer. So I'd basically go in people's houses, look around their house, sit and have a coffee with them, you know, for like an hour. I was always talk too long. So they'd allocate like 45 minutes for the valuation and they'd ring me and the manager would ring me like, where are you? And I'd be like, oh, because I'd be like, yeah, I'll have another coffee. I'll have another coffee. And I would sit with them for so long. But I was good at my job and, you know, very good success rate of the houses that they would, you know, they would always come on. So I was a good lister, as they say. And I loved it. And then basically got into construction because my husband and his business partner at the time, he lost a lot of money 12 years ago. When we had our middle daughter, we went in with someone completely just ruined everything. Basically, the contracts were not worth the paper they're written on. And so, yeah, we just weren't on a lot of money at all. And it was around that time when I was still at the estate agents. And I guess kind of they just realized they were working like a labor supply, but for free. So I don't know if that makes sense. Paul, he was in construction. So people would ring them all the time. They were both like senior project managers for a construction company, but people would ring them and be like, oh, we need, you know, because it was on the railways, we'd need like 5 trackmen, we'd need these, we'd need that. And they would ring around their friends and get them for free, like non-stop. And then they were suddenly like, hang on a minute, we're doing all this work. We could be doing this ourselves and starting a separate company. So that's how it began. I stayed at the estate agents for about 9 months and it just got busier and busier and busier. And then
the construction company?
The construction company, yeah. So then so the other guy's wife started working there and then just like could not cope on her own. So then that's basically, I was kind of forced, like no resentment, but I was kind of forced.
No resentment, she says.
No resentment. But I was kind of like, I had to, you know, it was like the money that was coming in was much more for us as a family. So it was a no-brainer, really. It was like, okay, we're all going to go in now.
So it's your husband and business partner and both the partners, both the wives?
Yeah.
Wow.
And another couple
Proper
come
family
in.
business.
Another couple come in.
So there's 6 of you at this
There's
point?
6 of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we all work together with separate offices. So sometimes when you guys do the mornings of, you know, relationships and how, you know, you work with people, I sit there thinking, guys, you have no idea. And my eldest daughter works there as well. But to be fair, she just kind of makes coffee and doesn't do a lot. We send her out to get the lunch. She's not listening. She's not on Clubhouse. But yeah, so she now works as well. So, but we've got separate offices and they're kind of out and about a lot. So it's all good. But yeah, so then...
How big is it as a company now then?
So, I mean, yeah, good.
I mean, we don't need to verify your accounts.
No,
by the way.
I really hate talking numbers, but I used to have it on my bio. I actually remember at the beginning, you know, when everyone was like 7-8 figures, and I put it on my bio until I realised one absolute dick. I must have looked and I deleted it. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely aiming for and very close to getting to 8 figures in about 18 months.
Wow.
Turnover, right? So as we all know, that sounds like, woo, swinging, but guys, there's 6 of us, like 3 couples, so we've all got equal share, but also
still 3 mil each, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're
well,
doing all right.
it's not.
The margin.
Here he goes.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. So the profit. So what we're doing is we're actually working with Infusion from Danny, who I met on Clubhouse. He's now come in, and we're working on making sure that when we reach that. I'll tell you what, he used a great analogy because we've catapulted and it's got so busy. We've like double turnover, like year on year. All honestly, through not even almost intentionally doing it. It's just kind of like through the respect that we've got in the railway industry. We work for like Balfour Beatties, so we're like one below the tier for Network Rail, so like BCM, Balfour Beatties, Bam Nuttall. I don't know if you guys know these, but and then we're one below them. So it's just got busier and busier. There's a lot of money going into the rail industry, and we kind of weren't prepared for how big it was going to get. And Danny once said, it's like you're on a fast train going 100 miles an hour to success, to where you want to be, but the track's not laid yet.
Yeah.
And I thought that was perfect because that's exactly how we were started to feel. So the track, now we're just putting the steps in place to make sure that the track's laid, and we're going to head there with a good amount of profit, strategies in place. Blah blah.
There you go. God, she got very serious there, didn't she? She got a little Miss Corporate all of a sudden.
Really
Balfour Beatties, Terry Nutkins, whatever they were called. 8-figure turnover. Well, see, you
No, but
I
it is
never really talk about it.
It is hard. It would be a very dry and boring conversation.
Go on, just have a couple of minutes.
No, but the world that they work in, Balfour Beatty, their sole intention is to take money from their subcontractors, of which one is Susan's company. So they basically effectively, it's a really bad. The construction industry is shocking in the way that it's structured, but generally you've got these main tier 1 contractors, Balfour Beatty being one. Apologies if anyone's listening from Balfour Beatty, please don't sue me, but basically they will take a price from the owner of the government Network Rail, which is they would take a price and they make very little margin. So the way they increase their margin is by companies like Susan's agreeing to take a price to do the work.
So they sub it all out.
And then chipping away at that price. And they incentivize their quantity surveyors by the amount they save, but not giving to their subcontractors. So basically from day one, you're in a combative environment because you've got somebody that all he wants to do is take money away from your price. And that's how they engineer circumstances to make that happen. And it's how they, it's how they operate. Payment terms, they've got a bit better, but payment terms, like I done some work in the rail industry, and payment terms were 160 days, I think, when I worked for Balfour BT, which
for 5 months.
Yeah. So you do the work, you get paid 5 months later.
Wow. And
can you imagine walking into Tesco's and ask for a pint of milk and say, I'll come back in 5 months and pay you? Yeah, but you're talking huge sums of money, millions of pounds of work, and you're waiting 5 months for it.
And you're having to cash flow it yourself while you're waiting for it to clear.
That's why insolvency is so high in construction industry, because it takes one mistake, one bad contract to bring the whole pack of cars tumbling down.
So why isn't someone at the top not going, hang on a second, all the Balfours are doing, they're taking the work out, subbing out to somebody else and mugging off the in between?
Don't get me started. But
have I just solved construction?
No, it's privatisation, isn't it? It started, a lot of it is government contracts, so it filters its way down. And the procurement the way procurement is set up across all of those contracts, it's just there's a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy, and they are trying to change it. There's something called the Construction Act, which is trying to speed up payment terms, and they are generally trying to change the way it works. But a lot of it is bank funding, bank finance, bank money, and so the whole setup from start to finish is the delay culture. You know, it's like the bank money comes in arrears. The payment terms are always in arrears.
Gotcha.
So it's a tough, really tough industry.
Yeah.
To be in.
We don't just do price. So, and actually Balfour's we probably haven't worked for about 6 months, but we have clients and then like repeat clients. So we doing a lot of work at the minute for Clancy, Docra.
Yeah.
So it's not just, do you know Colas?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Colas is our biggest customer. And with them, we do only labour supply. So we do an occasional price job, but so we often do labour supply as well. So then we're basically, they'll take on a huge job from Network Rail, and then they'll go, okay, we need 50 trackmen on this job. And, I won't bore you with all the names, but there's like, the site guys, the safety guys, and all the kind of different
What's the most
ones.
boring job title?
Oh,
Come on.
I mean, there's a COS, Controller of Site Safety.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty dull.
You know what, guys? This is why I don't talk about it. But yeah, but the labour supply, to give you an idea, is much better terms. Colas pay within 30 days. And then we'll put out a trackman, for example, pay them like £11 an hour, but you will get from Colas like £20 an hour. And then and then they price it like that. So it can be, we've made huge profits on a lot of them. And like Paul just said, there's some whereby you will wait 4 months to be paid. And then with a price job, it's all on application. So they'll look at something or things will go wrong. And then they'll go, do you know what? 25% of that, actually, we're not going to pay you now.
What,
And then
after
that's your
you've done
profit.
it?
Yeah, after you've done it, and then
Yeah.
and the only way to do it is to go into a battle with them and to go through adjudication.
Are you
or-
going to win though?
No, but this is the thing that it's a bit like the legal game. The bigger contractors are the ones that win because they can ride out the storm. So if you, in contractual
Sinker.
terms, if you create a problem and you argue about the problem, by the time it goes through the resolution that's detailed in the contract, the correct and proper way of resolving the problem,
You've gone bust.
most of the time the smaller subcontractors have gone bust, and that's the shocking thing about construction industry. There's no way to prevent that or protect that. You just got to either have a big bank account of money to ride out the storm, or somebody will gobble you up.
Yeah, I mean, you can insure the clients, which we did do as well via invoice factoring. But to be honest, it costs a lot of money to insure them. And then all the clauses, as we know, of insurance. I can't believe I'm talking about insurance. I've like gone all boring. But as we know, this is what I could go in these rooms and talk, but I just don't, because actually it just does not feed my soul. But with the insurance side, there's all the clauses. So we've done that before, spent thousands and thousands of pounds, and then found out that actually the insurance, if you don't stop work within 30 days with that client, the insurance is void and null. So there's no point in having it.
No, I had
because you
that.
continue on to work with them. So you end up losing, thousands anyway. So the insurance is.
That's
Sorry
what
if anyone's in the insurance.
No, that's what caused my first business to fail, and then basically a personal bankruptcy off the back of it.
Yeah.
Was we exactly the same as you, had an insurance product, insured our clients, came to the point where we claimed off the insurance, and they told us you had to wait 365 days after non-payment to be paid by the insurance. So you had to wait a further year of non-payment. Well, that clause is purposely there so that they hope that you go bust in the process, and then they can get out of paying you the insurance.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
And there's like, if you didn't write a letter by this date, how many phone calls did you make to them? And if you didn't follow set steps, then it's null and void. It's like,
And I bet it was quite easy to miss a step.
Yeah. Really easy. Yeah.
Invoice factoring or financing. That's a.
Oh my God. I can't
No.
believe I'm talking about
We'll
this.
get a bit. We'll move on. But no, it's quite beneficial. I used to. It was a bit like business crack
It was
cocaine.
needed. Yes.
Yeah, but it's also like a
You can't
business
get off of
business
it.
crack cocaine.
cannot
Once
get
you're
off
on,
it.
you can't get off.
So true.
It's like do you know what factoring is? You're all looking at me strangely. Yeah.
No, I know nothing about factoring or crack.
You raise an invoice to a client if it's a commercial client on day one, and on say day two, the bank will release a percentage of that invoice value to you immediately. So you say we've got 160-day payment terms. On day two, you'll get a nice chunk of that money, like
So you
60%
So
of
you
it,
can
or
fund
70%
help you in
of
cash
it.
flow. Got
Yes.
And then the remainder you get when the client pays you.
Yeah.
But effectively, the bank's giving you a loan
Yeah.
that you've got personal guarantees
It's
for.
like
So you've borrowed.
Yeah, it is.
You've
It's like
borrowed
pawning the
against
client.
your invoice
the
value.
job, right.
Yep. So you're the asset is the invoice value. You're borrowing against the invoice value, and then you're riding out the storm, hoping that you get paid. But if you don't get paid and the situation's created like we spoke about by the clients, then all those days later, you've taken out a loan against the invoice.
And then you're on to your next job, which is also paying you in the same.
Yeah. And that,
bad way.
but because you're used to getting the money instantly, it's really difficult
You're robbing
as a business
Peter to pay Paul
to get off.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to get
and
off.
we need and then you have to do it because, like you're saying, when you're funding the jobs, not only do you have to buy the materials, which you can get like trade like on 30 days, but it's the wages. So we pay our guys weekly. We're just starting to move to fortnightly because Danny, even like people come in and they're like, how are you paying these men weekly? This is crazy. You're not getting paid for like 60 days, but we would still pay every single guy weekly. So, you know, it can be like £70,000 a weekly wage that we're paying out. And then you're not going to get any money from that job until 60 days.
That's all we pay Ash. Actually.
So it's a lot of money.
Hurts,
70 grand a week.
On a Friday in an envelope.
Yeah,
Ash is worth every damn penny.
Suitcases are just.
But yeah,
well, we didn't expect to talk about invoice factoring with Susan,
Let's
did we?
talk about manifesting.
No, but you know what? I think it's really important because I think sometimes, like I always joke, but I love what you bring to the room, and I love the energy and the enthusiasm that you bring to the room, and I love the fact that you are unapologetically you, and you will just say what you want to say, how you want to say.
I always say sorry though, don't I? I do actually. I always apologise. I go sorry if I'm going to get too deep. Sorry if I'm going to.
But I love the. Okay, so let's fast forward then. But I think it's brilliant the journey that you've been on. So you go into railway construction. You're doing invoice factoring. You're dealing with Terry Nutkins and Balfour Barry, who sounds well dodgy. I wouldn't trust Balfour Barry if I was you. And then but are you? When did you get into like the more yogi spiritual side of things?
Yeah. So probably, I guess I've always had like again an interest. Always had an interest, right? Like I used to be a naughty kid. I don't know if I said this before. I don't know if I'm.
No, you didn't say it, but I read between the lines.
Like after this sounds like get the violins out, but my dad died. My mum's disabled, right? So I kind of was left to my own devices from about 14 to 16, 17. So I had an older sister that had a boyfriend who drove. They would like track me down and come and find me where I lived, which wasn't Palm Bay. It was like.
Sorry, so stop you. If anyone can hear that breathing, it's Ashley being really close to his microphone, breathing into his microphone.
I could hear that in the earphone. I was thinking, who is that?
It sounds like a sleazy old man standing next to you.
Someone's getting off on my tragic story. What is wrong with you?
Back to Susan. It's Ashley doing meditation breathing.
Well, no, he's like,
I will be Zen.
When we said move the microphone close to your mouth, Ashley, it's only when you're speaking, mate.
We didn't say you had to chew it.
I'm like, I've had a traumatic childhood. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Carry on,
I need to know more.
Come on, back to your traumatic childhood. Come on.
Yeah, my traumatic childhood. Ash, control yourself. So basically I just anyway, did you turn into a bit of a wild child when you didn't have? Yeah, I smoked a lot of cannabis when I was younger. God, hopefully none of my family are listening or anything like that. But I did. So I was definitely like one of them kids that would think of all sorts when I was, younger, a teenager. And I used to really get into like how the mind works. And I used to like read all these books and watch all these things about space. 9 times out of 10 when I was off my face. But I can't believe I'm saying this. Guys are like conversational wizards. Everything's coming out. But that's crikey, what am I doing? But that's how it was when I was a teenager. So I've always really been interested in the mindset. And then I guess like I had kids and obviously did not smoke anything since them days. And then I was like, getting like career wise. And then we started the company. And then as some of you know, my nephew committed suicide. Crike, I'm going really deep now. 5 years ago, but he was 32. So I say nephew, he sounds like really young. But yeah, he'd come out the Marines. And I think looking back then, it was kind of trying to understand, what that mindset comes from, like where, like all the signs were there, but everyone was just like, oh, we're just acting a bit strange. And so I just kind of like started learning even more then about, your thoughts are everything, like how you think controls your life. And unfortunately for him, he could not stop, these thoughts in his head and these demons in his head. And so I kind of like started looking into more stuff then. And then about 3 years ago, I'd done the first meditation course, and I just love it. As soon as I hear anything,
what got you into it in the first place? What made you? Was it just from the books you were reading about the
Yeah,
mind?
I think just
right.
like books and everything like that. You know, like if I go on holiday and, you know, people are doing like the yoga thing, stuff like that, I'd kind of be like more interested in it. And then I started probably about 2 years ago, hot pod yoga. Don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, I've done hot
know
yoga.
about
It's
hot
legendary.
yoga. Yeah, have you done it?
Yeah, it's hardcore.
So you're literally in a tent. So pretty much how we all were this morning in the studio, except without the yoga poses. But have you ever done hot pod yoga? So you're in a zip up tent and then you've got heaters blasting at you each side.
Oh, I've not done it in a pod. I've done
Oh.
I've like done Bikram yoga in like a gigantic, like massive hot room.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably similar. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
this was just a tent. You must have gone somewhere like really posh.
Yeah, I went well posh. I said, "Do you want the pop-up tent?" I went, "Nah, mate. I want a big room."
Yeah, I
sweat
just
together
go
with
to
loads of
a
other
sweaty
humans.
tent. But it's like literally an inflatable tent, and so you just get really hot, but it's beautiful, and it's, you know, they play the music, and they used to do head massages before COVID, and I just loved it, and I think then I started exploring that more, and then I looked into Kundalini yoga, which I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that.
We just about know what yoga is.
Okay, so Kundalini yoga is more about like. So rather than kind of doing all the flows and the patterns, it's more like breath work.
Yeah.
So they say that you've got, it's like Kundalini energy is like in the base of your spine and you can release it. And I truly believe it's like the basis of like being like an amazing energy, like having a good life, to release your Kundalini energy. But anyway, won't go too deep. But so I looked at all these things.
Stop saying that.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
going to
what-
pull you up
sorry.
on it. Not, you can go as deep as you like. You're the
Okay.
guest today.
I
I mean,
know,
you didn't know about
everyone-
it.
But who's the special guest?
You can talk
I know,
as
too
much
funny.
talk about invoice factoring and
Yeah.
Kundalini as you like.
Okay, cool.
Well, I love it that we've gone from invoice factoring,
I
health and safety
know.
officers, to cannabis, to
Wait till where we go
to
next.
walking on the
Yeah.
moon, to yoga.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Where can we go next?
Yeah, I haven't talked about the moon yet, but I would like to talk about the moon. If
Oh, here
you
we
talk
go.
About the moon, we'll talk about the moon.
We'll definitely talk about the moon.
So I even looked into that, and yeah, just really threw myself in. And then about 18 months ago, I done theta healing, which was for me the game changer. Which is then when I knew I was going to do it as a career. And like, I still work at the company, but I'm trying to take a little bit of a back step and like just do like 2 or 3 days there, and then make, you know, like a career of doing this. And the theta healing is like basically where you go into the theta brainwave. So it's part of meditation. And what we've realized is that when you manifest and you try and visualize, to go into that brainwave is key. It's the successful key. It literally is. So theta healing is amazing. And I'd done that, and I'd done the practitioner's course, but I don't think I'd feel comfortable just teaching that. Maybe I'll do the advanced one. I don't know. So yeah, and then I just carried on from there, and then joined Clubhouse in January, and I don't know what happened, but I've just attracted everyone kind of asking me more about that side of it. So then I'd done a law of attraction diploma, you know, and I just sort of studied more, and now, yeah, people are asking me to speak, and I've been speaking at, you know, events and Zooms, and I'm here today, and it's crazy. And I honestly believe that that's what I will be doing now. Like, it's not even an ego thing. It's like, I'm telling myself, like, that is what I'll be doing.
Is that your passion?
Yeah.
That kind of thing is
Yeah.
more what fires you up. So the world of railway construction
Yes.
might pay the bills, but it doesn't
Exactly
fill
that.
your heart.
Does not fill my heart at all. No offense if anyone's listening from the railway construction industry, but it doesn't.
Shout out to Barry Balfour.
Barry Balfour. Yeah, no, Barry Balfour does not feed my soul. I think for me, it's a case of, I get really passionate about not making people, but allowing people to understand that your thoughts create your reality. And so many people are like, I don't get it. And I think my niche I've got, or what people are telling me in the feedback is that I've got a good way of explaining it. So I don't go too woo-woo or too spiritual, and I don't go too psychology and neuroscience. I kind of can explain it down the middle and say, it feels
I think that's a
magical
fair
because of
assessment,
this.
yeah.
However, actually, it's really scientific. There's nothing magical about it because this is how it really works. And because I think I've been talking like that, I've attracted kind of more, you know, like a lot of business people as well, like business guys, and they're like, you know, I think that you can help me. Hopefully they've got good intentions. But that's like kind of where I'm going. Yeah. So it's kind of like, and then, you know, Marcus Black is, you know, I've been talking a lot with him, who I adore, and we've become really good friends. And he's literally like, we're going to be speaking together on a stage, you know, so that's where I'm heading. I'm like,
So-
I'm going to go to America, guys. I'm sorry.
So were you headed there? You could go to the real Palm Beach. Then, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
you headed in that direction in January before this whole clubhouse journey started, or
I think
was the Kundalini your dirty little secret, and you sort of like did that before you had to go into the office at 8
the
o'clock in the morning?
Kundalini is definitely more of a hobby. I don't think I'm going to teach that, but I think because I also done a massage course last year, so I trained full body Swedish and hot stone. So I started doing that. We've got my girls dance. We got a dance studio in the back of the garden, and I turned it. I like stole half of it. They barely started using it, and then as soon as I was like, "Oh, guys, I want to do my massage in the studio," they were like, "Oh, you can't. This is our dance studio." And then they tried to take it back, but I won and kind of got half of it. So I was doing massage, and then from the massage, I started doing mindful massage. So I don't know if you guys have ever had that, but it's where you go into a state of meditation before the massage. So that's what I learned to do, and that's what I used to do, because I always feel like I have to be a little bit different. I don't want to be like the standard kind of, I don't know. I just always like to go a little bit extra. I'm just
You are a
extra.
bit extra, aren't you?
I'm a bit extra.
You're a bit
So I used to
extra.
do mindful massage and then meditation. So that's what people would come to me for. So I started doing that last June, July. And then obviously COVID stopped it.
Yeah.
And then I've still got loads of people actually that bought vouchers I still need to massage. So sorry again if you're listening. I will get back to you. I've got like a queue of people looking at my house.
She's doing invoice factoring. You can get your massage in 160 days.
Is there an expiry
Yeah.
date on them vouchers?
Yeah, there was actually 6 months, but COVID, I'll extend it. But actually, do you know what? That didn't really, I loved it. But again, it's a lot of work. It takes, because I was doing mindful massage with healing music, it does drain your energy. It does. Like you guys, when you're in here this morning, compared to being Monday to Thursday, you'll feel different after here, won't you? Because you're giving so much more, and you've got you're feeding off each other's physical energies, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Ashley's like, yeah, whatever. So when you're with people, definitely you're more feeling their energy, and you pick up on it. So when you're
100%.
massaging somebody, especially with hot stones, because they absorb energy, it really takes it out of you. So I'd find I'd often spend 2 hours with a person, and it's just not worthwhile. It's not to do. No, it's just not. So now I'm like, you know what? I'd rather speak to a few people, help more people at one time, without massaging them all simultaneously, because I'm not an octopus. So just through speaking. And I did try the healing side, which is just like theta healing, or angelic Reiki and Reiki. I don't know if you guys have ever done Reiki.
I've heard stuff about Reiki.
So it's clearing energy blockages. But to be honest, as you know, and you're probably thinking now, she's non-stop talked. I am a talker, so I need to talk to people to help them. But I don't just want to go life coach. I kind of want to go a little bit the middle ground again. So different healing with talking. Just starting a new show.
Healing with Talking,
Healing
brought to you by
with
the Winners Club
Talking.
every Thursday.
Yeah.
Coming to you soon. Oh, I love it. I think that's great. So since January then, has Clubhouse accelerated the journey that you're going to be on, and why has it accelerated it? Because it feels to me like you've grown in stature and confidence, and it's almost like the more people who build you up, the more you build yourself up. I mean, you'll still say, "Oh, sorry," 17,000 times every morning if you're talking, but has that? Oh, sorry. I think we've got a hot mic there, like a hot stone draining the energy. Turn your hot mic off, please. Thank you very much.
There was a mic yesterday. Did you guys see? I made a joke, but no one.
Yeah, I didn't
There was
get
a guy
it.
called Mike. So I was like, there's a hot mic in the room. No, it was tumbleweed. It was tumbleweed.
I see it. I didn't get it. But I thought, have I missed
Stick
something?
Stick to the theta healing. I reckon.
Somebody called him a stage troll yesterday, which was the first time I've ever heard that term.
Stage
in
troll.
Clubhouse, yeah.
Blimey, that was a bit full on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Professional-
Poor bloke. He only didn't press mute.
Is that like a professional troll?
Yeah, it must be. So
Yes.
Clubhouse has accelerated the journey. So
100%.
So you were already doing the massage, and it's almost like the massage thing is like the gateway drug into what you actually wanted to do. It's almost that sort of crossover point, isn't it? Where the real world is kind of get some massage because it's physically doing something for you. But then actually the spiritual thing is so much more esoteric, isn't it? It's so much more misunderstood, I would say.
Yeah.
And people are so much quicker to dismiss what they don't understand through fear or ignorance, or just for having a bit of banter in my instance, which is maybe a mixture of all of it. So what would you have been able to get out of the business in the way that you're planning to now if it hadn't been for Clubhouse?
I think probably, yes, I would have. I've always done things alongside. I told you guys I used to sell walk-in balloons when at the time the company was not
I forgot
great.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I told you guys I was going to bring them in, didn't I? And I forgot.
You did. You were going to make an Ashley
But I
Shipman
haven't
walking
got
balloon.
helium. I haven't got helium at home, so I could have stopped at Asda's and pumped
Could
them
you
up.
imagine this morning in this studio with some helium in it?
Everybody,
welcome to the Brothers Club. That would have happened, wouldn't it?
Definitely. I would have been off my face by now.
But
Probably in the back of an
honestly,
ambulance.
They were the cutest. I don't know if anyone has ever seen them. They sell them at, I think, Blue Water and Lakeside. There's a guy that does do them as a professional career. But they're basically...
So the construction company was having a hard time and you went and sold...
No, it was like at the beginning, early days. Yeah. So I used to do it on the side. I always have like my own little thing going on. So I've always had like that entrepreneurial...
Why is that?
Mindset. I think probably just stemmed again for like, we grew up with like no money. So we were, I don't like to say the word poor because, there are people poor. So we had food and we had a house. But, we didn't have money. Like I can remember my dad used to like sometimes beg me not to want to go dancing because he didn't have like the £1.50 to go dancing. Yeah. And I'm now looking back, you kind of think of these things, but I was more like, I want to go. And I used to do karate, which we haven't spoke about, but I got my black belt, but that's another story.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've said
that before and people don't believe me, but I'm like, yeah, I did. And again,
by the way, brand name Kick-Ass Kundalini. Just put it out there.
Kundalini. I
just
love
chuck it out there.
that.
Just you're welcome. That's your gift.
But yeah, I guess. But all of that like formed my childhood. I guess of realizing, the value of money. And then after my dad died, because my dad used to say to me was, I used to say like I want to be a hairdresser, and he'd be like, don't just be a hairdresser, own a salon. Don't just own a salon, get a chain of salons. Like he was always.
What did your dad do?
He used to own a shop and then he gave it up for my mum because my mum's disabled.
Right.
So then he didn't work the last couple of years before he died.
What was the shop?
Just a newsagent's.
Oh, okay.
It used to be a fishing tackle shop and then it was a newsagent's. And then he decided to get fit. So he stopped working, he put on a bit of weight, he decided to get fit and he literally jogged to go and get the paper, came home and dropped dead.
No, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And so me and my sister was there. Yeah, this sounds really bad. I've had the trauma pulled out of me through healing. So I don't worry, I'm not going to get upset. But yeah, so really sad story. But so my point is that he was always like, make sure you do well in life. And he used to say like, life's too short. And he was 53 when he died. But actually I was telling my friend yesterday that he lied about his age. So it's only when we done a family tree. Yeah,
no, really?
Yeah, we found out he was 56. So on his gravestone is Kenneth William Stokes, because my maiden name was Stokes, very similar, age 53. And he was 56.
Legend.
Yeah. And so he
I don't know if he lied. I often forget my age.
No, I think he definitely lied because
why 3 years? That's so specific though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
how old do you make 53?
So when he had me, we thought he was 39, 40, but he wasn't. He must have been 43. So maybe it's because he was a bit older as a dad. I don't know. But we found out he lied. And then also not only did he lie about his age, he lied about where he was in the siblings. So he used to say that he was the youngest. And then, we found out that he was the middle child. Bizarre. I know. I'm like, my dad was a liar. But because he used to tell us the most funniest stories. He was such a joker, my dad. So he used to be like, yeah, because I was the youngest. And then it was only after he died, we'd done one of them family trees. And my uncle Derek gave us his date of birth. And we were like, that's wrong. And he was like, no. And then we were like, yeah, because he's the youngest. He's like, no, he's the middle. He's the middle and I'm the youngest. And that's when it all came out. So we never changed.
Bizarre.
Even when we bought a new gravestone, we actually kept it at 53.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we didn't change it.
Oh,
like,
why
no,
not?
he always wanted 3 years younger. So yeah, I should have done it, shouldn't I? I'm 38, guys. I'm not 41.
What did you, we often, when people come here, we get into like the Clubhouse journey. When you first come onto Clubhouse, how did you come onto Clubhouse and what did you think of it, first of all?
Yeah, so I come onto it because, again, I always like follow signs. So I was at work and people were talking about it. The girls that I work with were talking about this Clubhouse and we thought it was
God, they are listening this morning then. You better be nice.
Yeah. No, we thought it was like an elite celebrity
That's
kind
what-
of type
that's
one.
That's what I felt like when I met Ashley for the first time.
Yeah, it still is.
That's all the press articles were about
Yeah.
Clubhouse. It was.
Well, it was
Kevin
initially,
Hart,
wasn't it? It
Kevin
was
Hart.
initially opened
Yeah.
up to Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
VC like investors first round,
Yeah.
then it filtered out from there. So naturally, like that was
Yeah.
who gravitated towards it at the early days.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I thought it was. And then, so Christian, I don't know if he's still in the room. Yeah, he is. So then Christian, who I knew before Clubhouse, because he used to teach my girls dancing, he'd posted on Instagram saying that he had these invites to Clubhouse. So I was like, no way. And you sign up, but you wait for someone to. So I was like, get me in. And then literally that evening, he was like, okay, I've signed you up. or sent the invite, and then I went straight in, and I think I followed like Christian around a couple of times. I think he knew Jennifer, and Jennifer was in the Winners Club.
Big in the game.
Yeah, so I think that's why. And I think I came in almost straight away to the Winners Club, didn't I? And connected with you, I guess. And then I kind of follow you around, I think, like a little sheep. I was like, wherever Ashley goes, I'm going to follow. I don't know what that voice was.
The world's worst cartoon character.
One of Ashley's many disciples.
So, and I kind of would, like where you pick up on names. And I remember Elliot Brown being one. I don't know if he's in the room, but yeah, he is. So I noticed like him, and he was really lovely when I spoke to him once. So then I'd kind of like look for names and followed them, and so I used to go in a lot of them big rooms. Am I allowed to say the names? No, but the other big rooms.
Did you learn how to generate passive income? That's what I want to know.
Yes. And,
leave it. Leave it.
And I really understand sales versus marketing and all of that good stuff. But them rooms,
Champagne lifestyle, what? Lemonade wages.
Strawberries and champagne. But them rooms, do you know what? Like you learn a lot, don't you? So I never say like I found my feet, if that makes sense. But do you remember that time when I got really shot down in the room? It was so embarrassing. Do you not remember? I'm not going to mention who, but I spoke.
Oh, go on.
And someone literally was like, basically said that I was waffling. Like
male or female?
Female.
I know who you're talking about.
I don't think you do.
Do I not?
I tell you why. Because I'll tell you after. But I tell you why, because I don't think she's on here anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're going to mute all of our microphones in the studio so she can tell us.
People
We're back open. We're back open now. So there we go. We're back. We're back. We're back.
And they're in the room now.
We lip read you on YouTube.
Huh?
We lip read you on YouTube.
Lip read us on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you come and check out the live stream so you can actually see Susan.
No. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
but she was basically
I didn't hear who.
Well,
it
do you
was.
know what? It's quite the psyche of Clubhouse at the start.
Yeah.
It's quite, and you're probably. I don't know if you'd see it now with the Android users because everybody has sort of set the way, but there was like a massive ego power play.
Yes.
And then even down to how we all filled out our bios.
Yeah.
It was like you had to prove to people
who you were.
Yeah. And it was like when you actually think back now, some of the stuff we would have written in our bios.
I know.
Really? Figure earner, and I'm a bit of a shitbag, but I've got loads of businesses and I'm really successful. Everyone's a billionaire. Do you remember the running joke was everyone's a billionaire? Like, who's the billionaire we're going to talk to today? Then we had actual billionaires like Chattree would come on. We're like, oh, he's actually done £1 billion in revenue. Like, oh, there's a difference between every Tom, Dick and Harry who's selling a 59 quid pop-up course and the actual guy who's doing £1 billion quid.
But with them people, you had to pull it out of them. Everyone else
going. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I found, that the people that I've more aligned with like do actually work and have a company, and they've done all these things.
They're real.
And they're real people. And I think, as you know, I'm so everything is your energy. What you put out is who you attract into your life. There's a reason that you three, like I've said before, work together. For whatever reason, it works. Like I know I've joked before.
I'm just a massive fan of Ashley.
Got your
literally.
But even
when he walks in the room, I'm like, oh my god, he's here
again. I can't believe it. How have we done it again? We manifested him.
We got him back for a second week.
Yeah, but the reality is it works, and it works so well. So for whatever reason, you attract the people that are meant for you. So when I got shot down in that room, like I was meant to be there. Like I don't look at life ever now as, at the time I did, I was mortified and I thought, oh my goodness, I think I might just come off Clubhouse. A few people messaged me actually and was like, she was a and she was, and that's how.
By the way, there's
felt.
no point. Microphones don't work. If you put your hand over and still say "bitch," then you can still hear that word. Just so you know.
I used to whisper the wrong word even to my kids. So I'd be like, "Oh," and then I'd whisper the wrong word. I actually would never say that to my kids. But you know what I mean. I whisper the wrong word. But what my point is, I was meant to be in that room at that time, and that's how I see life now. And it's such an amazing way to live. That you are like, I know we all say it, don't we? Life happens for you, lessons. But it's true. Like even this morning, with all the chaos going on, that was meant to happen. So like, next
it wasn't.
Friday,
that was definitely not meant to happen.
Yeah,
that clock is supposed. That is meant to tell the time.
Because next Friday, you'll know. You know what I mean? Like everything.
We probably won't.
Everything you learn from. But with this lady, it really taught me that I don't really like them rooms. I shouldn't really be in them rooms. I don't just want to go in, speak and get shot down and feel like that. And so I started then looking elsewhere more and going to nicer rooms. And that's when I started my own room. So I thought, you know what, I don't just want to talk business. Like, you know, now when we're talking earlier, I'm like, okay, like people get bored. Like everything starts with mindset, no matter what we're looking to do. And everyone on this app, if they're starting a business or, you know, they want to feel happier or they want to get a soulmate or they want that, you know, better quality of life, it all starts with the mind.
100%.
So the more I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about that more and try and actually help people. Like I know I can help people. So that's where I kind of started going. And then obviously as a result of me speaking them words, I've attracted good people into my life. In fact, amazing people into my life. And then you kind of click with the people that you are meant for you. So then, you know, like we have the Winners Club, those people are very much on our same vibrational energy. And so they're the ones that have stuck around and they're the ones that you're now working with. And it's all good.
Awesome stuff. Fantastic. Right, Mods and Speakers, if you've got a question that you'd like to ask Susan, because she's opened up and shared some stuff that I've never heard her personally share. We're getting a load of great feedback on the live stream. By the way, guys, just to quickly reset the room, if you want to, if you can click on Ashley's face, Paul's face, my face, I'm James on the left-hand side, or the Winners Club. There's a link in the bio, and in the link in the bio, easy for me to say, there's a link in the bio. And if you go to the link in the bio, you can watch the live stream right now. So you can listen or you can look. Or you can look and listen, or listen and look at the same time if you want to. So the live stream is on. You can watch it on YouTube and you can watch it on our Facebook page as well. That's right, we're omnipresent, everybody. So if you'd like to, I knew Lucien would be first up with a question.
Beiju was flashing as well. Beiju.
Yeah, but don't worry about Beiju. We'll get to him later if we've got time for it.
Beiju's
If not,
flashing
we'll
hard. Beiju, you might as well be flashing in real life there.
He's probably still doing his bicep curls.
Yeah.
Saturday meet up.
He's
Get that
flashing.
glycogen in there,
Or he's
pal.
going through his applications for Beiju's bride.
He's flashing with his kettlebells.
Beiju's bride. We've got to run that as an actual show. One night, should we do a pop-up room? Beiju's bride. Let's find a wife for
Oh my
Beiju.
God.
Sorry, Beiju.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's very inappropriate.
Let's find how many there are on the
I'd
app.
love that.
And
And Beiju, you can play Snog, Marry and Avoid with them all.
Whoa, different, bro.
Oh, okay, Beiju. Quick question. Snog, marry,
No,
avoid.
Lucien, go first.
Ash, James and Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Right. I will snog Ashley.
oh, lovely.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
You
Not at the
can't
moment.
see
He's
that
a
Ashley
bit
was licking his
sweaty.
lips
Only
then.
because of the. I would marry James because it'd just be a laugh every day. I wouldn't avoid Paul, but it'd be
Cheers. Thanks for that.
Paul is so wounded. I can't believe how offended we've all got by like Beiju. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't want to snog me. What the hell's wrong with me, Beiju? You're lucky I'm not coming out tomorrow, mate. I prove a point. Serpentine, no serpentine. We'll be in it skinny dipping, pal. Right, let's go to Lucien for a question first, then we'll come to Beiju in a minute.
You ask your question, I'll come on.
Thank you. Oh dear. Susan, it's been so lovely to watch your journey into stepping into what you know is your strength, and I've loved seeing that. And I think loads of us haven't we? And for those of you who don't know, Suze did a masterclass in my membership, and she didn't apologise once. Susan,
Did she not? She must have had a strong day.
No, Lucien had a bell.
I was like, if you apologise for going too deep, then I am going to ring this bell.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We're going to force you into no longer.
It was like dog
apologising.
training.
Yeah, so thanks, James, for mentioning that. But what I wanted to ask you mentioned theta healing, and it's something that the members really wanted to like probe a little bit deeper about. And how do you get yourself into that theta brain state? Is there an app? Is there something that you can use? And how do you personally use it, Suze?
Yeah, so I don't probably use it as much as I should, if I'm honest with you. When I done the course, James, I can't talk when you're taking pictures. It's getting into a meditative state. So we all can do that through, calming our mind, music, essential oils. But theta healing really takes it one step further. And I would say you really need to do a course on it. There's books that you can get. There's courses that you can get online, and there's videos that you can watch. But the course I did was 4 days. I think it's really important to probably go with a professional and learn it properly, rather than, because actually it can do damage. You can't just kind of help people get into it without really explaining it first. So I think you do need to be really careful. The brain, as we know, the mind is very powerful. And so you do need to be very careful with what you're doing with it. And the theta brainwave is almost like when you're about to fall asleep or when you first wake up in the morning, it's a real low frequency. So you're in like a real kind of dreamy meditative state. And that's why people say to people use it for healing, people use it for manifesting, for meditating. And the reason that people do it and get into this state is because it helps you to visualize better. And also it removes self-limiting beliefs. So when we say, like, often we have fear and, things stop us, it's all well and good saying, oh, feel the fear and do it anyway. And, they're limiting beliefs that you've had from being a child, but where have they come from? And most importantly, how are you going to remove them? And most people that I know would use theta healing, and I certainly did, is as a way of digging so deep into that subconscious mind, you can actually start to remove the self-limiting beliefs. And so when I did the course, and I was saying earlier and talking about my dad, if it was about 3 years ago, I would probably, my bottom lip would have dropped, my eyes would have filled up, and I probably would have started crying, in all honesty. And when I done theta healing, they actually removed the trauma in a theta state. Now, whether that's placebo, and people say it's absolute bullshit, and I don't know why I feel like I can't swear on here. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm on a radio station. It's a mind over matter, and it's not true. The reality is, who cares? Because whether it was true or not, or it worked or not, the reality is that I feel the trauma has gone from me. So all my beautiful memories are there. I'm able to talk about my dad, but I no longer feel that overwhelming emotion where my heart takes over and, I'll start to cry. And the reason that's such a good thing, it's not taking the emotion out. I feel now I'm able to talk about it and actually, potentially could help people with grief, and, talking about my story potentially will help other people. So that's the power for me of theta healing. And the lady's name, who is it's about 15 years old, and the lady that started it is called Vianna Stibal, so Stibal, and so she is absolutely the theta healing queen. And the lady I trained with was trained directly by her. So if you do want to watch videos on it and look anything up, then I would say Vianna Stibal is your lady. And yes, there's loads and loads of videos on YouTube. So I hope that helps.
To clear your energy when you leave the studio, Suze, are you gonna get some clary sage?
Do you know what they asked?
She's having a kebab from German Doner Kebab.
Yeah, German kebabs. They asked me to clear it when I come in.
We've got to get this show sponsored by German Doner Kebab.
We should. The amount of mentions.
Jesus Christ.
The amount
and it
of
comes
mentions.
up on the maps, guys. So when I typed in the postcode, the first thing that comes up is not this studio, it's the German kebab place.
That's because we shouldn't we, really? Brought to you by German Doner Kebabs. We'll make that happen.
Do you know what,
get Ash on the case.
I found out this week, if you have it more than twice in a week, it really, really messes you up.
Is that
Who knew? Oh, everyone.
Is that what broke your hand, James? I still want to know what happened to the hand.
High performance habits and all of that.
Right, great question, Lucien. Thank you very much. Right, Beju, what's your question, pal?
Oh, no, I just want to listen. It's been fantastic this morning, Susan. I just want to acknowledge you. You've grown so much in your own space, your confidence, like you say, actually sort of help create the rooms and help us. But you've grown, you started your own rooms, and I just want to, in front of you, acknowledge you for who you are. You don't underestimate the powerhouse that you are, and you're going to become in this world. And I just implore you, just lose the word sorry. Don't apologize for anything. You're just fantastic. My question is this: you talk about manifestation, you talk about what you've manifested. Can you understand, if someone's in this app right now thinking, I've never understood it, what would be the first 3 things you would encourage them to look out for to really start to understand the power of manifestation? Because, I believe in it before, and it was very much sort of I believe in it, but listening to you and coming to your rooms and understanding the stories is like, wow. And the last sort of month for me, being that intentional, it's working. So if someone's listening to this thinking, really, I'm not really sure, not heard of this, what would you say to look out for to really start to understand how to manifest things in their life to the point whereby, oh my God, it's tangible, real outcomes?
Sorry, Ash. Picture. Thank you, Beju. So I was going to ask you to rephrase the question then, but you did very professionally at the end. So for me, it's kind of, I think the key thing to remember is the terminology just scares people, or not necessarily even scares people, just, you know, people hear manifesting, law of attraction, vibrating, all these kind of words, and they think, oh, you know, that's not for me, I don't understand it, I don't get it. But the reality is that it's just what we do every single day. You know, we manifest what we're going to have for dinner, we manifest our whole lives. And top athletes will visualize themselves winning, you know, gold medals. They'll visualize running a race. You know, we all heard from Curtis Mitchell, who I connected with very early on here, and he used to say, you know, he'd visualize within a certain time frame winning the race, and that's all kind of accepted. And then, you know, we were saying earlier, like, you know, coaches with top teams and sports teams, and they will all get into a clear mindset, and, you know, all of that. And it's basically that. It's just that because it sounds more spiritual when you talk, you know, law of attraction, manifesting, vibrational energy, the reality is it's actually very scientific. So for anyone, without going, I'm not going to say sorry, but without going kind of too deep into it, it is just understanding that your thoughts become your reality. So every single thing in life starts with a thought. So, you know, everything, this clubhouse room, you know, the club, the microphone that I'm talking into, the studio, every single thing starts with a thought, and that thought creates an emotion, it creates a feeling, and then your feelings create actions. It creates your reality of life. And so when you think of what you want in life and you really truly want it, you have to believe it and trust it, and you have to ask for it. So there's like a 5-step process, I would say 5 to 7-step process of manifesting what you truly want. But the key things is that if you say, oh, you know, I'd love to have this new company, I'd love to have, you know, this money, or say someone says, oh, I'd love to have £100,000. You don't want £100,000. You don't. What's the point in having £100,000 sitting on your lap? You know, what do you want to do with that money? Why do you want that money? How's it going to change your life? But it's more about the feelings of what you're going to buy with that money and what that comes with. So I think when you understand what you truly want and the desire is there, that's when you're able to manifest. And by that, it's understanding it, getting clarity, asking for what you want, visualizing it. And I say visualize from a good place rather than, you know, a forced place. If you're in a good vibration, good gratitude place, you're able to manifest easier. And then trust the process and believe it. And then what happens is once you raise your vibration and get into this good place, opportunities are then going to come for you, but you're going to be able to recognize them more. So every single day in life, we have opportunities, but we just either don't see them, or we fear them, or we're not prepared for them. How many times have people turned down stuff because they're scared, or, you know, I speak to a lot of women that are overweight, and they're like, you know, it's ruined my life because I would have loved to have gone and done this seminar with all these women, or I would have loved to have gone on holiday, or I would have loved to have taken my kids swimming on the beach, but I didn't because the fear of being judged and how I look. You know, and a lot of other people won't go and do something, so like, oh, they're better than me, or, you know, I feel inferior. So when we're in a low vibrational state, or we don't really believe that we deserve it or that we can have it, guess what? We're never going to get it. So the idea of manifesting, it can seem magical sometimes, but it really isn't. It's just more understanding that when you visualize something that you truly want and you believe it wholeheartedly, and you ask for it and you journal it and you raise your vibrations, you're going to see things more. Just like, I know we all talk about the reticular activating system, your brain's working for you. It's going to look out for it more for you. And then when the opportunity comes knocking, and I know I've said this before, when it knocks on the door, don't just open the door, let it in, serve it everything that you've got, the best cake, the best tea with the best china, because you're going to be prepared for it. And then that is when it feels magical. And all of a sudden, and I know I spoke to Lucienne, and she's like, wow, you know, all these women are coming now, and and I'm getting all these women on my podcast, and, you know, everything's rolling, and Ashley's becoming really successful. And the more success and the more you believe it, like James said to me earlier, the more people tell you and give you good feedback, the more confident you feel, the more opportunities are going to come your way, and the more prepared you're going to be for them, because you're in a high vibrational state and you suddenly believe you can have what you want. Ashley, do you believe you can have now? Are you like ready? It's happening for you.
With phone calls from you on a weekly basis, then yeah.
It's just, the thing is, we often doubt ourselves, and then because we don't really believe it. So when, I've asked my sister before and she's like, well, I want this house at £750,000, but I'm not going to get it. And I'm like, well, then guess what? You're not going to get it. If you don't think you're going to get it. And then by the end of the conversation, she's kind of working out ways that actually, I could maybe do this as an extra job. Maybe I could sell this. Maybe I could look at this. And then when you start looking at things, which is what it's about, it's taking inspired action. That's the last step. You don't just magically get what you want. Of course, we're not stupid. You do have to take steps. And when you start taking these steps, you start to believe that actually it's coming closer for you. And then you realize that in a real world, you actually can have anything that you want. Fact.
Susan, you're a star. Don't underestimate how articulate and powerfully, simply you explain something that a lot of people might not really get. So I just want to acknowledge you in front of everybody.
Mate.
You're a superstar. Own it. Own your spice. I've always got your back.
Own your spice.
Own your space. Own your lane.
Oh,
but you were so right earlier when you said, like, you're not either side. You're communicating your message to people so they understand it. So it's not woo-woo. So it's not woo-woo, and it's not...
Because it's not woo-woo, yeah.
Yeah.
Susan, it's landing. I promise you it's landing. Just don't deviate. Don't listen to anybody else that's sort of negative. It's landing. Own it. Listen to your own words.
Yeah, I need a little motto, like Kayante, land in the plane. Should I have like land in the words or something?
It will come. James will think of something. James will brand it. He'll feel something. He'll come up with something and it will land for you. I promise you. Yeah. James, thanks, man.
The mother of meditation, wasn't it? The mum.
Yeah, I don't want to be the mum. Makes me sound wrong.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Beijing.
No, I'll come up with something better.
Oh, it was Kundalini something.
Yeah, Kundalini
Queen.
Queen.
Kick-ass.
Kick-ass Kundalini, yeah. Okay, right. We've had a request via the live stream. For a question. Ella is saying, wonderful session here on Clubhouse. Given the esoteric journey, I would love to know Susan's morning routine.
Oh, crikey.
Breakfast with winners.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, guys, I would
sometimes.
Yeah, I am. I would love to say that I wake up in the morning with the birds singing and then I sit and meditate and, kind of do all of this stuff that a lot of successful people and entrepreneurs, possibly do. I know on here we hear it a lot. And for me, I don't live my life that routine, if I'm honest. Never have done. I probably shouldn't be saying this. I know, James, you've joked before when I said, just don't have it. Just don't have a routine. But the reality is, I've got 3 children. So my mornings definitely change depending on, what's going on and, what I've got to sort out and whether I'm in the office or not and whether I'm at home. What I do without fail, though, is I always do take 5 minutes. So I know I've played a track before, India Airy. Sometimes I play that with a cup of coffee and I'll just stand at the back door. It's really important for me to have oxygen. Obviously it keeps us alive, but I do like to get fresh air in the morning, and I'll just like stand at the back door with a coffee. And if I don't have time to meditate, and I've said this before, guys, I'll do a shower meditation, and all I'll do is literally in the shower is like the deep breathing, visualize my day a little bit, and so I kind of make sure I take Juice Plus. Guys, I don't sell it, so I probably shouldn't have said that. But I do take Juice Plus in the mornings. I have coffee, I drink water, and then really I'm kind of, mum, sorting the kids out, tidying the house a little bit, and then on my way to work.
There you go. Short, sharp, and to the point.
Yeah.
She lives in the real world and the esoteric world.
I definitely
What's your
live.
India Airy track?
So it's I Am Light, but it's with the beautiful chorus. So it's beautiful on its own. I played it when I done the meditating morning with
you did,
James.
I'm trying to find it.
Okay,
It's on your Instagram. No, it's on one of your Instagrams.
Yeah. So if you type in YouTube, India Airy with the beautiful chorus, I Am Light, it honestly is a game changer. I played it when I done a full moon room. I haven't talked about the moon yet.
Yes, because there was yesterday, right?
No, I didn't do it. I done the first full moon.
The moon
room
in the eclipse.
I've done a couple, yeah. So I done one with the eclipse, but I done a full moon room with a few people.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a few
I
weeks
was
ago.
out walking in the woods.
It was such a
mad.
good room. Everyone was changing their profile pictures to the full moon. People were coming in that I couldn't believe, like big names, and they were like, we love this. And actually, a lot of people follow their lives by the moon cycle. No joke.
Because this is their cycle that's just been.
So now we're on a new moon.
Yeah.
Now we're on the new moon. And honestly, right, I won't go too deep, but I just don't understand how people don't believe that the moon affects us. And I'll tell you why, because right? So everyone respects Morgan Freeman. He talks a lot about this, but we all know that the sea and the moon affects the sea. We all know that, don't we? Did you know that, Ashley?
Yes,
Did you know that?
yes. I'm just waiting for where it's going.
We just do, yeah. So we all
Where's
know,
the sea going? Nowhere, hopefully.
yeah.
We're all in trouble.
So, but we all know that and we all accept that. And Richard, who's on here, you know, Richard.
Richard Wasson.
Yes.
Wason.
Yes. So he was in my room and he was a sailor for 10 years.
Yes.
Captain of a ship. And I don't know if it was a ship, might have been a boat. I've just upgraded him, but he's a captain. Really
He was a liner.
Yeah. And when he started.
I think so. Yeah. Proper like big driver of boats.
Yeah, big driver of boats. That's what he was, and hugely respected. And when he started speaking, I thought, oh, he's going to start saying what he's talking about. And actually, we're looking at doing something together because that's how they operate on the ships, by the moon, by the stars. Everything. They won't do certain things when there's a full moon. These are like really respected guys. So this is when I say, like, I try and explain it more like that, because then people kind of listen and think, oh, but it affects the sea, right? It affects this huge body of water. And what are we? We are 80%, 90%, whatever we are, of water. So how we think that the moon energy doesn't affect our emotions, I don't get it. How many times do you guys, and women will say periods and stuff, right? And I don't talk about that. That's Lucienne's hack. But women will be governed by their cycle, 28 days. The lunar cycle is 28, 29 days. The word lunatic come years ago from aggressive behavior on the lunar cycle on a full moon. So
I've got a story about that. I'll tell you that off air. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I can't wait. But so full moon is a real like emotional charge time. So you all feel differently, don't you? Like sometimes you'll wake up and you'll suddenly think, hopefully the last couple of days, Paul with the studio leading up to a new moon, you suddenly are in a get shit done mood, and you'll wake up and think, I'm really productive now. I'm going to do. If you start looking at where the moon is, I promise you'll realize that it all matches. And so when you're feeling really reflective and you suddenly...
I love Ash's face.
Yeah, his face. I know, I love it. But when sometimes you're overwhelmed with family love, right? You are every day, but sometimes you're really like, do you know what? I love my family. I'm overwhelmed like a burst of love. Right, you'll look and it will be a part of the moon of reflection and gratitude.
I'm not undermining you. I'm actually taking this.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Really
I'm laughing,
yeah.
but it's not. I'm actually thinking what it would be like to be the voice in the back of Ashley's head.
Yeah, because I feel like Ashley's thinking that she might be onto something.
Yes,
it's a new thing. I can tell.
I'm going down surfing. Next full moon, I'm going down surfing.
Yeah.
Love.
Susan,
Yes.
Susan, it's Lucienne here. Do you know why we as a society listen more to like people who've steered boats and are men than we do to the spirituality side of things? Do you know why you feel that shame? It's because we spent the last few hundred years burning women for being witches, basically. So anything that was considered spiritual before that time, like navigating by the moon, working through astrology, etc., was considered a very normal thing to do. And then women got associated with this spirituality and this shameful behavior, and many of them were killed. And so a lot of our narrative, when it comes down to spirituality, it's this shame around speaking about that kind of thing, because historically we are not supposed to or allowed to talk about that kind of thing. So it's a really interesting thing that a lot of people have studied in academia about why we feel shame about talking about the moon and spirituality and stuff. So I just thought I'd chuck that in there.
Yeah, no, that's really true, Lucy. And actually in theta healing, they do talk about, like the limiting self-beliefs that they might not just come from, we often talk about them coming from childhood, but again, it is quite deep. It talks about on an ancestry level. So you'll have limiting beliefs, Ashley, from like your great granddad, because DNA and energy is carried through along all generations. So you're right, and a lot of us as women, and it's probably why I'm apologizing non-stop, because obviously I'm not surrounded by a lot of spiritual people in my family, and also it's probably stemmed from perhaps my ancestors were witches, and that has come from like that deep spiritual self-belief that's deep rooted within us of I shouldn't really be talking like this because people will laugh, or it's not okay to talk like this. But yeah, the reality is when you look at the moon cycle, there's a lot of truth in it, and it's energy, isn't it? We all know that the sun gives us energy, vitamin D. People do underestimate the moon's energy.
I've often wondered why that is, but actually what Lucienne said, I mean, for once, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The fact that it has been
not for once.
it has been it has been vilified for so long, hasn't it? And there is
Yeah.
that, like, because you are a passionate advocate of what you do.
Yeah.
But every time, even I love watching your body language, because someone gives you a compliment, you can't take it. When you try and reminisce, you look up and right. So you're a visual person. So you,
Oh my
you
God,
remember
James,
in
you've
pictures.
analysed me.
No,
Yeah.
James is like the
Is he?
we call Beju the sniper. So it's not really a sniper, but like we
we
I'm
do
gonna be conscious now of my body language.
things. We do things when we're in the conversation. He goes, I noticed you just done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Paul's energy today, like you can tell, he's like, I've made the studio this week. I've done my bit. Like he's really lackluster in his approach today.
No, I'm not going to lie. I'm absolutely knackered this week.
But it's really interesting
Yeah.
because you are such a believer in it, or not even a believer. Let's say you're such a knower that this thing
Yeah.
exists. Like I say, vitamin
Maybe I am
D
a
comes
witch.
from the sun, and the moon's energy is as legitimate.
Yeah.
You know, it is literally the mirror of the sun. Why would it not be?
Yes.
It's got gravitational pull. It pulls water. We are
Yeah.
water. Of course, it works.
Yeah.
But even still, you are a little bit apologetic about it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You're a bit like, oh, I'm sorry. That's why we always say
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, sorry
Yeah, I
about
do.
that.
So
So do you
this
know
morning-
what? You need to you have a
Yeah.
duty
Yeah.
to empower others to understand it. So you need to stop saying sorry,
Okay.
not for you, but for everybody else,
I
because you've got broad enough shoulders and the personality to
Yeah.
carry off. That's right. Yeah, I've gone deep. Shut up, Beju.
So if you was looking
Yeah.
for an eclectic mix this morning, we've spoken about
Invoice
railway
factoring.
construction, invoice factoring,
Yeah.
smoke cannabis. Let's just call it. Let's just
Yeah,
call it
just
cannabis.
cannabis, just cannabis.
The moon,
The crack come later.
meditation, yoga, burning witches,
Yeah.
burning witches, captains of the ship,
English football.
English
English
football.
football.
We covered
There we
it,
go.
English football.
Well, there's 10
But
subject
I would
matters
like
already.
to. I would like to
But that was
challenge you
me.
positively to stop
Yeah.
apologising for what you
Okay.
do, because you've got a beautiful message to deliver, but you have to have the confidence to deliver it.
Okay, James. I'll
Because
do it.
people will only buy from you when they buy into you, and
Yeah.
you have to buy into
You're
yourself
right.
first.
Yeah.
So forget the railway, forget Barry Balfour, forget Terry Nutkins.
I'm gonna have
We're
my
going all in.
notice. I'm
Going to meditate
leaving.
the hell out of this life.
What, Susan? I'd love to know as
Yeah.
a mum, what do your family think about Clubhouse? Because you spend a lot of time on Clubhouse, like
yeah,
we all
I
do.
do. So I kind of spoke about this yesterday, actually. I was in Rachel's membership group, and one of the women was asking there and saying, how do you deal with people that are not necessarily she said being negative. So my family haven't been negative. So like where you've got kind of they're not being not supportive. No, that's not the right way of saying it. They're not being supportive, but they're not actively encouraging it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so they're not supportive, but they're not supportive.
Yeah, exactly. So I still get at the very beginning
Like, do your thing.
yeah, my little one at one point was like, Mum, when is that Clubhouse being deleted off your phone? And it broke my heart, and I was like, oh, never.
Oh, no.
'Cause I'm obsessed.
Oh, lovely question. Never.
Have you heard of addiction? This is what I have. So when I used to smoke weed, now it's Clubhouse. I just smoke in Clubhouse every day. So I think they don't get it. They're not on it. My eldest daughter's friends are on it, and I've got a couple of nieces that come on it, and then a couple of my friends like dip in and out. But there are people that just don't really understand it. Like I said, there's people that you're either going to manifest in that are kind of the same mindset as us that come onto the app, and it's like, actually, this is amazing. Like, I'm meeting all these amazing people, connecting, my life's moving forward. This is what I want to do. I'm getting clarity. And then you've got people that kind of come in and think, this isn't for me. And I think my family would be them. They'd kind of be like, I'm not going to sit and waste time and talk all day. And that's fine. That's fine that they think like that. So they kind of just accept that I do it. I've tried to be more strategic lately, because I used to be in all the rooms, and I'm very much a yes person. So if people ask me to, mod in their room or co-host, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Your inbox is now just for
Yeah,
you've had a
I
request for the
know.
Winners Club. Actually, I'm now you've become your PA.
But I'd love that, James. I need one. But I'd be like, yes, yeah, of course I do that. Of course I do that. And then I found myself then, like driving my daughters to dance, and I'd be in a Clubhouse room, and she'd talk, and I'd be like, shh, to hug so I could speak. And they'd come in the room, and I'd be like, go away, miming. And then I kind of realised that, that's not okay. That's when it's, affecting them. And their little faces would be like, the older ones would eye roll. My husband goes to bed really early. So to be honest, I kind of, 8:30, my room's in the evening, don't impact anyone, because the girls go off in their own bedrooms. And, then if I'm sitting there on my own, I won't feel guilty about being on Clubhouse. I'd rather be on Clubhouse than, what's the alternative? Sitting there watching Netflix or scrolling through Instagram, which is probably what I did do a lot more before. So, I definitely don't feel like the guilt of being on. I know a lot of people have spoke about that. It's an amazing platform, and I've met amazing people, and I've got clarity on my life of what I want to do. So I think now they see that more. And just like with anything, you gain more respect by not letting people shut you down. So if people are telling you not to do something, loads of us listen and end up staying on that path to suit other people. And I think the fact that I don't as well, I'm actually teaching my children, my girls, that when you do want something, go for it and see where it can lead. So I think now it's kind of almost gone full circle and they're interested in more what I'm doing. My girls hear me talking a lot more and understand it a lot more. So it's kind of like I've taught them without teaching them directly. And now my eldest one, I mean, she's going to get me in trouble, but I've become like a guru to her and her friends. So like I literally heard her the other day and this girl had like real issues and she was like, you need to talk to my mum. Just give my mum will, literally she was like, my mum will talk to you for 30 minutes. I'll tell her a time and you can speak to my mum for 30 minutes. And I'm like, my eldest daughter, Summer, and I'm like, yes, Summer, don't put this pressure on me. I'm like, I can't help all these teenage girls. Like I'm not qualified. You know, I'm not like an expert life coach. I've done, you know, law of attraction life coach, meditation diplomas, but guys, I am not a therapist. So I don't claim to be an expert, but I know I can help people that want help to move forward in their lives of, you know, for whatever they're stuck in. So that's what I'm going to kind of work on. But I think realizing that, you know, this isn't a dress rehearsal. This is one life. And if you really want something and, you know, I'm like the intuition is the language of the soul, always follow it. And if something feels good and it feels right, then that's your intuition and your whole soul telling you that you're on the right path. And if something feels bad and you when you feel resentment, you feel it physically in your body. So like if someone tells you not to do something, but you truly want to do it, and then you don't do it to suit them, you're going to hold on to that resentment and it's no good for anyone. So I really just try and live my life by, if I want to do something, I'll do it. God damn it. And see where it leads me. And sometimes it leads me in trouble, but that's another story.
There's several of those stories, isn't there? Right. Was there anyone else who wanted to?
Yes, please. I could just say a quick word.
Who's this?
Oh, it's Alan.
It's
I recognise. Oh, sorry, it's Jonathan. Sorry, Jonathan. I had the South African beautiful tone and just presumed it was Alan.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Welcome from the land of the Rugby World Champions. Greetings this morning. I wanted to say, well, first of all, what a dynamic team you guys are this morning. Really, really profound, and it's just rolling. I just wanted to acknowledge, Susan, your disposition is one of massive humility. You have such a profound insight, and you know, regardless of the G side that everyone says you've got to take care of. I learned something from you last night. I was in a group with you which you were moderating, and it was a slightly contentious issue about how we would change the world, and there was issues of sex and handicaps and race and land issues. And the one thing I learned in your quietness is that you allowed the room to go, that sometimes when you up against a debate or an argument or a difference of opinion, it's always recommended, I believe, that you acknowledge the person's contribution and you warm. And there was someone on there that didn't do that. They were very opposed to even my liberal views, and I found it a little bit upsetting. And I thought to myself, you could come in there 100 times and had an opinion, and it would have been a very valued one. And I just think that you when you're hosting rooms and you're in the room, until you really ask to speak, you don't really jump in. And I really respect that of you. And thanks very much for your contribution to Clubhouse.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. I know. Yeah, I think that room, last night was meant to be on one specific subject, and it definitely it did get deep, didn't it? And people do give their opinions, and I think on Clubhouse, what I found is exactly that. So yeah, last night's room, I wasn't the host either, so I think it's different when you're the host as opposed to being a moderator, like knowing when to come in and speak. But equally, it's that freedom of speech and allowing people to talk. And I think exactly what you said, Jonathan, and I know how you replied as well, and it was with such grace. And I think the reason for that is when you have the mindset like you do, Jonathan, that you just understand that it's good that people have different opinions, and you just the understanding that if people are on a different vibrational frequency, which is all it is, people are on a different vibrational frequency, so they think different thoughts to how, you know, we may think. And I've kind of just learned, instead of being triggered by that, or, you know, stopping them talking and letting them speak, it's just best to, because I just allow myself to realize that it's okay to be on different frequencies, and that's not a bad thing. I just feel almost more confident within myself sometimes, and especially more lately, the more work you do, that when you can stay in your own frequency and not be triggered, then it's key, isn't it? It's key to contentment and to satisfaction in life.
And that's very powerful, Susan, and thank you. And there's a guy that's on the group, Christian, who spoke so brilliantly, and he adopted that all-inclusive, and it just, you know, with a bigger picture, whether it's business or politics or sport, the inclusive psychology of acknowledging the other person's views, if not all, just some of them, opens up a warmth that allows you to communicate with respect, and you can respect those differences. What came across for me last night, which is, there's a lot of powerful minds on these groups, and I find that most of the people allow a space to not be almost dictatorial, and the antithesis opposite of what she was saying last night about us all trying to get on. She was invoking a no to any other view, and I just thought you handled it so well. And I then was left with this kind of sad taste, because I just thought we weren't. I said I'd go for coffee with you and we could talk for hours and I'd enjoy her views. But I'm learning from you, and I think stay in your frequency is great advice. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan.
Awesome stuff. Right, Sarah has been flashing like a woman possessed. So what is your question for us, Sarah?
Trying to get.
Now you've muted yourself. You got overhyped.
I know, I did. I've actually loved this, Susan. I've really enjoyed listening to you today, because your childhood is very similar to mine. So it was really interesting listening to you. But also, one of the things that I wanted to say is you've got such a powerful message that I would love to have you in with my young people at some point speaking, because one of the things I think that a lot of young people don't understand how important it is to have the right mindset right from the beginning. I just wish they'd teach it in schools. I mean, I was a salon owner that got into education, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, maths and English and all these other things are promoted, but mindset is so important. So I just wanted to say thank you for Dave, and if ever you've got some time, DM me. I'd love you to come and speak to a lot of young people, and also to my salons, because at the moment there's a massive skills shortage in our sector, because a lot of them have lost so many people over this year because we've been closed. And I think we want to encourage young people to not see that as a negative and see it as a positive. So thank you, Susan. It was really interesting listening to you today.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, of course. I'll definitely DM you.
Awesome stuff. Right, we're working towards wrapping up the show, my beautiful pals. Just to let Susan know, I'm now via the Winners Club. I'm now taking bookings for you.
Yeah, thanks.
So just to let you know that we've got a speaking engagement that's coming up shortly. I think it was Jeremy. Was Jeremy who was just on? Was it Jeremy who was just on?
Jonathan.
Jonathan was just on. Oh, Jeremy. So we've got another fan. God, it's turning into the fan show, isn't it? Jonathan, Jeremy talked to strangers on Instagram. He said, I'd love to co-host a mindset room with you next week. I'm a passionate subconscious mindset coach.
Oh, amazing.
So I will screenshot that and you can
send it
do that what you will. Mods and speakers, if you've enjoyed this conversation, give us a flash of the mic. Oh, I thought you might have. Fantastic. I was about to just drop this bomb that I was potentially going to try and get Susan to lastminute.com run
yeah, let's do that though.
An ocean meditation for Ashley Shipman to work on his plethora of issues. He's run out the room. He could feel it, his vibe. He could feel it. Come on, Ash, if you're listening somewhere else in the Workhive headquarters, come back.
We could have done a let go one where you inhale let and you exhale go.
Let go. Should we do one anyway?
No, you exhaled let go.
Oh, let go. Hang on. Did I go?
Inhale let.
No, I've done it again. I'm letting go of the go, and I'm inhaling the let.
And then
I'm having a
exhale, go.
nightmare.
You can just think it. You don't have to say
okay.
it.
You do it on me.
Just
Go on.
inhale, let through your nose. Hold it for a minute. So hold on to whatever it is you're trying to let go of. And then as you exhale,
I was trying to let go of myself.
Yeah, you think go.
Do you know
this
what?
is a lot longer, guys.
As well, do you know on a serious level though, how you deliver stuff I love. I think it's fantastic. You've got like a real tone of voice. Like for me, you don't sound like the normal yogis. Like, come on, let's all, because you've got like a bit of a Margate twang. Like, come on, bruv, let's get let's get feta, because feta's better. But no, I seriously like it. I think that actually,
more like a Tony Robbins husky,
Tony Robbins
motivating voice than the meditating.
Yeah, but I think that because of that, you could probably resonate with people in a way that a lot of the other yogi stuff doesn't. Here he is, this king of Clubhouse is back. Right, Ash, we're going to do just a quick exercise with you here because we think that from a Kundalini perspective, you've got a lot of bad energy. Got a lot of bad energy today. So Susan's actually going to help you to get rid of.
So funny.
Wow, pick an issue of all of the ones that you've got. And
James and Paul.
Okay. She's going to Kundalini breathe Paul out of your life. So
you missed. So James and Paul.
She's going to get rid of Paul out of your life. I'm going nowhere. The moon vibe is not strong enough to get rid of me. I'm here forever. So let's do a little breathing exercise for a couple of minutes to end the show, shall we?
Okay. I mean, so first of all, does everyone know?
Just to me?
No, we're doing it to everyone on Clubhouse.
Oh, okay.
But first of all, does everyone know how to breathe properly? Because that's the key thing as well. We
don't
don't
know.
breathe properly. So when you inhale through your nose, your stomach should be expanding.
Yes, I know that.
So often we inhale and we suck our tummy in.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be. When you inhale to open your lungs more.
Because he's been down the gym a couple of days this week. He's like, I'm sucking this in for the camera.
When you inhale, you should be your stomach should be going out. So when you,
I know, it's really confusing, isn't it?
Confusing, but the reality is that you're opening your lungs 20% more.
I'm really not getting breathing.
So when you inhale through your nose, push your stomach out. And then when you exhale, you're letting that air out. So when you exhale, your stomach goes in. And that actually is breathing properly. And I'm not even joking.
Can we just make sure, are you still certified in first aid from your fire days? Because it looks like Ash is about to die.
I'm just going to go. But the reality is, I don't know why, the government, I won't get onto COVID, but because it affects the lungs, this is so important. Singers learn it. It's the first thing singers learn.
Diaphragm control, yeah.
Diaphragm control. And when you work out, you're actually going to take in 20% more oxygen by breathing like that. So if you work out like it, your workouts are going to be better.
You're listening, Beiju?
If you want to sing, Beige, listen. Beiju knows this, I'm sure. So breathing effectively through meditation, deep breathing is definitely key. So when you inhale through your nose, your stomach should be out. And that's the quickest way to explain it. You're opening your lungs 20% more. 20% more oxygen.
It's actually hard when you consciously try and think about doing it.
Body.
It's difficult to do it, isn't it? Because like I say, because your shoulders go up. Yeah.
But you will, when you realise, you'll start to breathe properly and you'll notice a difference. You'll have more stamina.
Watch your baby sleep. Watch your baby sleep. And their stomach, nothing moves apart from their tummy just goes up and down.
Because
but we don't breathe
even,
like that.
They don't even think about it. They've got none of this like conditioned stress or anxiety. So they just breathe and they just allow their breath, which is what meditation is. It's just allowing. So you just arrive without going, I'm not going to apologise, but without going too deep.
Stop right. Oh, sorry. Lucy, you got your bell there.
It's just about.
Hang on.
She actually has.
Right.
It's just about arriving within yourself, because we live our whole lives in the outside world, all the thoughts that overcome us, what I've got to do today. And, today now it's like, I've got to wrap up the room. And so just taking a couple of minutes to meditate is just arriving within your own mind and being calm. So I would love, Ashley, for you to be able to do it, because you'll love the benefits.
So would I.
Even if it's just 2 minutes, honestly, like 2 minutes. I know you couldn't find that song, Paul. But
you found it?
Oh, you found it?
You found it, didn't you? It's on, it's ready.
That song, honestly, even if you played that song, okay, and we just practiced that breathing while we were listening to it, it's so powerful. But if anyone needs to let go of something, when you inhale, say the word let, hold your breath for a few seconds, and when you exhale, say the word go, and whatever it is, let it go. That no longer serves you. Is it with the beautiful chorus, Paul? That one?
Yeah, oh yeah, we don't mess about in this house.
So you can see the women on the screen?
Oh, I'm not sure. We can see one at the moment. Hang on.
It might not be the one with the beautiful chorus. That's okay.
I Am Beautiful chorus featuring India Irie.
I am light, not
Yeah.
I am.
Oh, I am.
No, it's I am light. Sorry
Oh, for
about that.
God's sake, hang on. Right, Paul's going to sort that out. Let's put some, hang on,
You
put
can't
this on
just be
quickly.
I am, you are light. Yeah, sorry, Paul. Shall I show you what it looks like?
Carry on anyway. We can.
There's so many people when I.
So we're going to practice our breathing to this song, yeah?
Yeah, and when I last done this song, so many people asked me to send it to them, and then actually said it was a bit of a life changer because they'd never meditated before. And then by having this, so it's that top one there, you see with the women in the panel, 4 minutes 23. So type in "I am light, beautiful chorus." And it's 4 minutes, but you can listen for like 2-3 minutes.
We'll do a couple of minutes, couldn't we? Just have a little bit of a breeze.
And it literally, and she speaks over it as well. So her whole album's amazing, actually. And I'm not endorsing her in any way.
Is it that one? Songversation worthy? Yeah.
No, it's "I Am Like the Ladies of the Beautiful Chorus."
Why are we seeing it differently on our screen?
I can play it. Should I play it on my phone or will that not work?
That's not going to work, unfortunately. Very technical. We're overly technical in this house.
Not if I unmute. No.
It's a full effect, is it?
No.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise we just got dead air. So we'll work towards getting that on. Has anyone got a final question they'd like to ask to Susan before we wrap up the room this morning, or anyone? Just because we've got a bit of a Susan fan club going on, so we could. Shannon, we'll come to you, my friend.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to say thank you to Susan. I was in the masterclass that you did for Lucien's membership, and it was absolutely phenomenal. There were so many implementation tips, and it was just so full of knowledge and actionable things. So just a massive thank you, really. And this morning's been really interesting as well to listen to you share. So yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
That is awesome. Anyone
Can I
else? I
say-
think Pete.
can I-
Yeah, go on, Pete. Of course you can.
No worries. I've been in and out this morning. I've had various things to do. I just think, Susan, you're fantastic. I just think you come from such a great place, and it's just a pleasure to know you. You're one of those people that I've never met physically, but I feel like I know you. So I just want to give you flowers and thank you for everything that you do. And if I can ever do anything to help you and support you in any way, you only have to ask.
Oh, thank you,
speaking.
Pete. Your
It's a
face
pleasure.
was the fourth face I saw this morning. Ashley had your book on his desk. And I was like, hold on a minute, that's Pete Cohen. And he was like, yeah.
He's been reading it, and he is a changed
man.
Well thumbed. That book is now. I believe that's the term. It's well thumbed at this point in time.
James,
he told us to duck off when he arrived this morning.
James.
Yes, Pete. How may we help you?
I've got 3 words.
Come on.
It's coming home.
Of course it is. We're getting ready, Pete. So Pete is actually the host of our. Pete is the host of. Oh, he's got the music on. Fantastic. Yeah, that's Pete playing that, not us.
England, it's coming home. You cannot stop it. It is coming home. We are going to
We're
win
manifesting
Euro 2020, but not in 2020, in 2021.
The perfect year to win 2020 is a year later. That's right, this year. Thank you, Pete, for being here, as always. Right, we're going to finish off then this lovely little session. Mods and speakers, give us a flash of the mic if you enjoyed this morning. In fact, you know what? Give us a flash of the mic if you haven't as well.
Christian's flashing away there if it hasn't.
And we're going to finish off with a little bit of breathing. So we have the beautiful chorus on, and then you can talk us through what we should be doing. Yeah, is that cool? Or are we just going to focus on the breathing?
Say it before. Oh, that was echoed. But so the best way to do it is to inhale for like 4 seconds, hold it for 3, and then exhale for a little bit longer, exhale for 6 seconds. And you can do it think of anything. It can be, letting go of what no longer serves you, or thinking, the things that you've got to do today and just getting clarity on what it is that you want. You could manifest your dreams while you're listening to it. But the whole song is all about just understanding that we are just energy and we are light.
Love it.
Beautiful.
What are your thoughts on, are you a nose breather or a mouth breather?
I am, at night, I'm a nose breather.
Makes sense.
Daytime, I'm both.
Right.
I'm a bit of a meditative. I'm sighing a lot. I think I sigh a lot. Deep breathe.
Yeah.
But that's key.
Because my mate, who is very high up in the world of like health.
Have you got some?
She's what?
Mates.
It's us two. I don't know which one of us are high.
You mean there's other mates apart from us?
No, well, I pay a small fee, but residually, it's one of those passive income things. I think for him, he doesn't have to show up really. He can just be my mate. But he's like, "I'll breathe through." We do like the Wim Hof stuff.
Yes.
I've got to like 3-minute breath hold now, and he's like, "Breathe in through your mouth." And I'm like, "Really? I thought you're supposed to breathe in through your nose because then it filters stuff." He's like, "But you get a deeper breath." And I'm like, "Wow!" And actually, you get high in your own supply.
You'd love Kundalini energy because Tony Robbins does like Wim Hof, the 30 quick breathe in. So and there's something in that, like when women go into labor, they teach you to breathe like that, right? For pain relief because it affects your physical body. Kundalini yoga is similar, so it's real quick breath work, and it changes your whole. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. I bet.
So you can hold your breath for 3 minutes.
3 minutes and 9
Paul
seconds.
could probably swim the channel.
No,
not Paul. James could probably swim half the channel now after doing Wim Hof. You can hold your breath for minutes, can't you?
Yeah,
when you do it.
3 minutes and 9 seconds is the most I've done. Not this competition.
Crazy.
I'm like, come on, you can do it. Meditate.
Off air, we're gonna have a breath challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay tuned if you'd like to see me faint.
Is there a bath here? We'll just
My mate can do it for like 4.5, 5 minutes. People, you can survive without breath for like 7-8 minutes. Easy. The free divers do it, don't they? They oxygenate the cells before they.
Next week we need proof of this, mate.
Okay.
We need a testimonial that he's actually your mate. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to message.
I thought you meant he's breathing.
I'm going to message him now. I'm going to phone him right now. I'm going to get him on the phone and just ask if he's my mate.
But guys,
If one of them calls, can you just? We're mates, aren't we? Yes.
but that is the key. Like it's again, isn't it? We go through life. We don't ever focus on our breath. We take. It's the biggest thing we take for granted.
100%.
It's what keeps us alive. And I think for people that say I can't meditate and I don't know, I can't visualize, I can't. Ashley, I'm looking at you. I can't meditate. The quickest way for a beginner's guide is to just focus on your breath. And then by focusing and counting on breathing in, holding it, and breathing out, you're instantly calming your mind. And by breathing out with your mouth, slowly and for longer, you're actually relaxing your facial muscles. So if you breathe through your nose, you can still often we put our tongue on the roof of our mouths. I don't think we even realize. We clench our teeth, and so when we drop our mouths and we open our mouths, instantly our face is more relaxed.
I tried it, meditation.
Yeah, but did
Didn't
you?
work.
Yeah, you're saying didn't work, but
No,
what you probably still do meditation. Flying your plane is probably meditation for you. It's like
bloody not.
Not when Ashley and James are sitting next to you. It's not. But yeah, I get the idea.
But like,
You take you. Yeah, I guess so. You take your mind
focusing.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Active meditation. Was that active meditation?
Yes, it definitely is.
There you
Yeah.
go, yeah. Maybe.
So there you are. You're a big meditator.
Just didn't even know.
I was getting up early, going downstairs, and trying to
like chant.
sit with an app on.
Have you
and-
tried chanting as well? So that's another form of
Only when the football's on.
yeah.
Olé,
If you repeat the same things you're saying, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
James. You could be a singer.
he was an X Factor.
Michael
Was
Bublé
he?
tribute band. Have I not done that
He's
yet?
on X Factor, and there's clips on YouTube.
Oh,
Stop
shut
it.
up, shit, man.
Oh my goodness! But when
This
you
is why you're not my only friend, because I need backup just in case of this behaviour.
But when you do chant the same things, even if it is a football chant, you're actually sending the frequency through your body, the vibration. So it actually does affect your mind. That's why a lot of people chant.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, we're going to play this song
Yeah,
and
let's
we're going to do a
go.
little bit of deep breathing. And Ashley Shipman's going to be a better human being at the end of it. And maybe Paul will as well.
From my house.
Oh, we're doing it from this lady's house. Hang on, let's get her.
It is
Where-
a great pleasure, actually. I love
Might want to forward it.
Okay, here we go.
Come on, Ashley, breathe.
Oh, look at James. Visualise.
Oh, look at me.
I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am light. I am light. Light as in the opposite of heavy. I am light. I am light. Light as in the best word in the English language to describe the soul. I am light. I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I Pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light.
Oh, how nice is that to end the show today? That is the beautiful chorus and I Am Light. I feel like I'm on radio too. Up next, Jeremy Vine. And before Michael Ball at 4 o'clock. I've just said to Paul, I reckon we could get a beautiful chorus on one day. What do you reckon?
My goodness, that would
Imagine
be
if we
a
got beautiful
dream.
chorus on.
You could join it as well now.
I could definitely not. Imagine
You could
ruining the
be
beautiful chorus.
The lead singer.
I could definitely not with the lead singer. She's fantastic, isn't she? Yeah. But thank you for being here today, guys. Very much appreciated. There's nothing more to say. Susan Stocker, thank you for being here. Oh, let's give a massive round of applause to Susan, everybody. Don't even mic clap. Don't even flash the mic. Take your mic off and whoop and cheer. Big fans of Susan Stocker. Big fans of Susan Stocker in this room.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being here, Susan Stocker. What's the rest of your day look like? What have you manifested for Friday?
I'm not going to go into work, so I'm going to go
Hey!
pick the kids up, enjoy some sunshine.
Take that, Barry Balfour, in your face. Oosh, yeah. And what? Champagne lifestyle?
Champagne. I'm going to go and sit on the beach and meditate with champagne.
And if you'd like to do that.
That makes me need a wee.
Palme. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciated. Today, as part of the Winners Club, which is, by the way, that's the club that this room is a part of, but not that actually put it into the Winners Club today. But we have got the
Rookie error.
Rookie error,
No,
yeah.
schoolboy.
Proper schoolboy error. But yeah, we have got the fantastic Lucienne has got her live coaching room at 4 o'clock. Lucienne, are you there? It's like Radio 2, isn't it? What's coming up today on the show?
I am indeed. At 4 o'clock today, we have the coaching sessions. I've given it a funky name. Do you like it, the coaching session?
Wow, it's really catchy, that.
Where did you come up with that?
It's original, isn't it?
It's really long and hard. Yeah, so we reflect on the week. It's an hour. It's a power hour. We reflect on the week, and then we set up for the week ahead. And I've had contact from so many people who were there last week who have had some form of breakthrough or have worked through something that they'd been procrastinating on or had a realization, and it was really powerful for them. So please do come along if you are stuck or if you simply need to afford yourself some time to get clarity and to make progress. Let's use the energy that Suze has been talking about to really set up and move forward. So 4 o'clock today, I've put the link on my bio. I'll send the link to you guys so we can put it in the Winners Club. Be lovely to have you all there.
Fantastic. Do you know what? My wife has been listening to me, or half listening to me on Clubhouse for 6 months. Hasn't bothered to jump into a single room, even when I've done a keynote. And she jumped into Lucienne's room last week. I came downstairs and
she listens to you talk a load of shit all the time.
Yeah, that's true, to be fair. She don't need to listen to it for her phone.
Don't need to do it on Clubhouse.
I walked downstairs and, you know, like we all sort of say, oh, you know, your kids in the family walk in the room, like, get off, I'm in Clubhouse. I had to do the same thing. I was like, what are you doing? She went, oh, am I on? How's it working? Yeah, with a notepad and pen.
And then, yeah, no, I see.
I love it. I love
really
that.
cute.
Yes, that's awesome. So thank you for being here. Make sure that you guys are here at 4 o'clock for the weekly reflections, the Power Hour. That's a much better name, by the way, the Power Hour, weekly reflections, aka the coaching session at 4 o'clock with the fabulous Lucienne, who's an amazing coach. And I banter Lucienne all the time, but I think she's genuinely one of the best practitioners of her craft in this country. I genuinely wholeheartedly believe that. There's a lot of people who are running around saying that they're coaches on this app who've done a Udemy course for 45 minutes. They're like, I'm a life coach. I'm going to solve you and fix your problems. But Lucienne's an actual practitioner of her craft. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that at 4 o'clock. And don't forget, over the weekend, Beju and the gang are getting together on at the Serpentine. Beju, if you'd like to skinny dip with Beju, join him tomorrow in Hyde Park at 12 midday.
It's not my meetup, it's a Clubhouse meetup. Everybody's invited. Be there if you can, 12 o'clock near the Serpentine. Be great. Also, James, are we going to mention the Kev thing in July?
No, we're not going to mention that yet because we have not confirmed details of it yet. But thank you for the nudge.
All right. No, so anyway, tomorrow 12 o'clock. Yeah. Are we going to be honoured with the three of you, James, Paul?
Unfortunately, I've got Paul's got a weekend festival of family parties because apparently birthdays in his house become a weekend event.
Coached me, and
he's not. You're now not allowed to go, are you? No, it's family time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually true as well.
And I've got a family birthday.
And James is out with his other mates. Didn't he tell you he's got loads of them?
I've got loads of them. Okay. Yeah, they're not. Sorry, guys, I'm coming now. Straight out the door. Absolute nightmare. These, like, they can't wait for me. I'm the life and soul of that party. Yes.
Next time.
everybody's welcome. Whether you've been on Clubhouse for 1 minute or 10 months, whatever it is, please come down. We've got games, we've got music, we've got green badges. We've got a lot. So
Beiju's bride.
It's a good. It's a raffle.
It's like a meat raffle, but the prize is Beiju.
Where's Denise? Where's Denise? She's swimming right under the bucket.
Right, fantastic. And also, don't forget on Sunday as well, we are doing the first of our European football rooms. We have got the fantastic peak performance sports psychologist, Pete Cohen, who is in the room.
It's coming home.
It's coming home, he reckons. And we're going to be running that on. We are running that on Sunday, which we are very, very excited about. So make sure you tune into that. We've got loads of cool stuff coming up within the Winners Club. But thank you for being here. Cheers to your ears as always. We love you long time, and we'll see you 4 o'clock today.
Thanks, guys.
What a fabulous room. I've enjoyed it immensely. Ta-da,
was it what
everybody.
you expected, Susan, or not?
Yeah, a lot of laughs. I thought.
She had to really think about that then, didn't she? Do you want to we'll do that again? Was it what you thought, Susan?
No, it really was. I loved it.
Right, that's it. Done. Perfect soundbite. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. You know that it wouldn't be a Friday without a bit of nonsense, a bit of insanity. But you know that we cannot go into the weekend without the illustrious words of the Royal Highness, the King of Clubhouse himself, Ashley Shipman.
Let's welcome.
He said it, everybody. Don't forget Lucien's Room, 4 o'clock today, live coaching from the UK's best empowerment coach. Yeah, I've called it. Ta-da.